Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrott.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution.
Each week we interview top artists
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story. Yeah. What up, guys?
What's up, everybody? Full house today. We got a full round table right here.
Yes, sir. We got my man Karan, straight from New York, in the building. We got Robbie with an upcoming nifty drop Sunday, is it?
Yep, Sunday.
Sweet. With the fabled Dead Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Very epic.
Amazing.
And our boy RG with a beautiful New York skyline as a backdrop.
I'm just holding it down. Curran and I traded places. You know, I felt like since you were away visiting Parrott, I had to hold it down in your city.
Then I'm going to come visit your city this weekend.
There we go.
Oh, man.
So what's up, guys? Let's see. Where should we start today? Why don't we start up there in the actually, why don't we start saying hi to the community? We got that Black Pierce saying, yo, what's going on? Robbie Trevino, Josh Pierce Art says, sup, Robbie?
Yo, what's up, Josh?
TV here. What's up, Ant? How are you, man?
Jay Pierce, a real legend in the scene. Watched his tutorials a lot back in the day.
That seems to be the case. I'm really hearing that from a number of different sources, with Josh Pierce coming in with some powerful tutorials and inspiring out there. So shout out. He's been on a live stream. One day there will be an origin story and definite part of this community and much appreciated.
Most def. Yeah, I want a Jay Pierce origin story. That'd be tight.
It's coming. We're getting it done.
He's in so many people's origin stories. You know what I mean?
That makes it so much fun. Let's start up there. Parrott, Curran, what brings you two together? What are you guys jamming on? What are you guys talking about?
I first connected with Parrott. I'll say that quick. Because I saw his piece on Super Rare called Development. With a big crystal going through the chest. And I was like, holy shit, I have never seen 3D art this good. I hadn't been in the artistic community yet. I've only been doing CG for a year. And I was like, what is this? How can someone be this good? And I hit him up. And thank God he was like, yeah, sure, I'll talk to this small fry over here. I'll talk to you. And as you know, it ended up giving birth to a months-long collaborative journey between us. Working on a piece called The Conversation that we have coming out soon. And the culmination of that, as we're nearing the final stages, has been linking up in person and exploring new projects in a way where it's so much more organic because we're right next to each other. But really, I've personally come to learn that the guy I've been staring at through the screen on Discord, exact same guy in real life, and the dynamic that we have in terms of collaboratively working is almost the exact same thing too. So I've learned that our workflow is actually pretty efficient digitally through coming here.
It's an amazing realization.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, wait a minute, I don't even have to, like, I'm so happy I came here, but we can be just as productive. Now that I've come here, we know that we're doing our best and we're doing it properly. You know what I mean? Digitally.
I feel like this is where you guys just get lost in the metaverse then. It's over for you.
That's what we were saying.
No coming back.
Yeah. We were saying that yesterday. It's like, this is proof that the metaverse works because it's not too much of a difference chilling in person versus just chilling on a Discord call. Besides, like, you know,
I can give him a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, down there we got Robbie Trevino. Robbie Trevino, you are separating yourself in my own eyes. I don't know how anyone else feels, but in the past several weeks, you're just over there making moves, Robbie, making move after move after move. You bought a CryptoPunk. I don't even recognize you anymore. Selling artwork left and right, which is incredible. And obviously you have this major drop coming up. So what is on your mind as you've been making these moves for the past several weeks?
Dude, it's a lot to take in, man. Just all of it, you know? I mean, geez, I didn't even know what an NFT was like 5 weeks ago. But to me, that feels like an NFT time, you know, that's like 2 years ago. So like for me, I feel like I've been doing this for a long time. I've gotten to know a lot of people real quick. yourself included, and these guys now too today. Like, it's incredible. I mean, it's exhausting. Like, it feels like I come from like the illustration / concept art community, done conventions, I've done a lot of shows, I've done a lot of commissioned work, but to me this feels like a nonstop, like, I don't know how to explain this. I guess a good way to put it would be like convention. Yeah, it feels like it feels like I'm on day 55 of convention, whatever, like, like a Comic-Con, whatever, because like every day, like I go to bed and I'm like, I don't even set my alarm anymore. I just wake up and I've only slept for like 4 or 5 hours. And I'm like, how am I up this early? And what do I do? I'm like, oh, what's going on Twitter? What's going on this site? Like the cryptoverse. Like it's my life. It's like, I am one with the multiverse. Like it's happened. Like I'm in, and I don't ever see myself going back at this point. Like it's incredible. So what's on my mind, I guess, besides the drop on Sunday, April 18th, Nifty Gateway, is just everything, man. It's like, I'm thinking like 10 years ahead. Like, what is this going to look like? Because things aren't going to be the same after this. Like, it's a paradigm shift, like legitimately. There's no bubble. It's like, it is the future. And we're like in it right now. It's like a moment in history, So like all of it, it's all on my mind, man.
Robbie, you are subsisting on that magic NFT energy. I continue to feel the same way. I've been saying this a lot. I feel like we are literally living history, and I can't say that about every moment in my life, but it just feels like you take a look around and you feel it. You don't necessarily know which direction a day will go or a week will go or a month will go, but it's just this palpable feeling of this is history right now, and this is going to play a huge role in where things are going down the road. Turning to the community real quick, Allison Joyful, welcome. Allison, we're going to have something fun to announce soon, aren't we? Moving on to Salinas High CTV. Yeah, cool. What's going on? Welcome. And pass it back to you, Parrott.
Yeah. Well, Robbie, thank you for joining us. I've been following you on Instagram for at least a few years now. You have a very recognizable style. That super cool stuff, dude. So I'm excited to have you on the podcast, have you participating in the NFT space. Like you said, it's a paradigm shift. It's I feel like I was where you were just like a month ago with like sleeping like 4 hours a night and just being like everything's going on at once.
It's like it's gotten even worse now that like I'm like 3 days out from the Nifty drop. I'm just like, what's gonna happen? I don't know.
You want to grind all night and network all morning, right?
That's what I do. I'm constantly like, I'm on like I'm on too many Discords. It's gotten to the point that I'm like sending the wrong messages to different places, and I'm like, oh, sorry, shit, like wrong place. Yeah,
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about Discord for a second?
Yeah.
And how out of control it's getting.
It's pretty out of control, man.
Like that vertical line, of circles.
You can make them into smaller circles.
Parrott, can you give the hacks out? Maybe I don't know this. Can you
drag a circle?
Give me some Discord hacks.
It's just like on your phone where you can like have like, this is my banking folder, this is my social media folder. You can do the same thing in Discord. So I have like you nest them. There you go. That's the word for it. Yeah. So I have like my very important folder. Then I have my music stuff. I have my car stuff. I have my crypto, just like plain crypto stuff. I have my NFT stuff, just all.
You end up leaving them unfolded anyway. I'm telling you, like you end up still having the line. The circles are like the Pinocchio line you're making of like, oh, this is important. I need to join this Discord. This is important. I need to join this Discord. And then you don't even know half of the ones that you're in.
Just make sure to turn off notifications on every single one of them.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's
amazing like when you're not native to a platform. Like I'm not native to Discord. I'm native to Twitter, right? I feel comfortable in Twitter. I know what's going on Twitter. I know how to organize it. I know how to get around. When it comes to Discord, I feel a mess. I just feel a mess. So yeah, I need to go in. I need to turn some notifications off. I remember the simple days of just having one clean line, not of nesting anything, just of like 3 groups that I cared about. And I would always be in there and having great conversations. Now I just feel real spread thin on Discord.
Wait, can we go back to one thing? Are you a car guy? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, I like cars.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I'm from Detroit originally, so like
Oh, cool.
I'm a car guy myself. Well,
Oh, nice, bro.
how do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, we have some cool car shows out here, you know, like in like the Redmond Bellevue area. There's
Yeah, I've heard.
there's like exotic shows because there's just like a lot of like retired like Microsoft executives like for like neighbors, and they all drive like Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and it's like totally normal to see. It's like yeah. Car meets car stuff. It's great. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just had to like go back to that for a second.
No, that sounds fun. Let's hit some of that stuff up after COVID ends.
In New York, there's a lot of car meets like every day, and there's a place called Classic Car Club. It's like a member spot you go to in like a warehouse in a port that they've converted into like a club and like lounge that has insane cars all over it. You're just sitting next to, and you can sit in and like mess with all these cars that they have sitting around, and the members can drive any of the cars in the lot.
Ooh.
Oh, see, that's so much cooler than
Way
anything
cooler.
I've been to. Like,
Come on
but
over.
you can't, you know. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Look,
That sounds
but don't
great.
touch.
Yeah. Cool.
We got to drop our obligatory origin stories mention of our good friend Alexi. That's Euphoria. Look at the gang, he says. And we also have the Freight Train in here. Hey, yo, what's up, Freight Train? How are you, man?
What's up, guys?
Congrats on the last sale, Robbie. Euphoria says.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a really important piece to me, and I'm glad that it went to a guy who is going to really appreciate it. That's one of the cool things about this. I mean, one of the many cool things about this is like I haven't had like a collection of anything come out yet. Like Nifty is going to be the first thing that's any multiple edition. I've only done one of ones on Super Rare and Foundation, but like every time someone buys a piece from me, it's this really like connective experience where it's like we're talking through DMs, and you know we're discussing the piece, and it's really you're getting someone that's investing in you. It's not even so much the art. It's just like I'm about you and what you're doing and what you're saying, and like I just want to see you grow, and this is me helping you do that. And before that, you know, if there was anything, I don't even think there was anything like that before. Like I don't know, I've never been in the fine art gallery scene. I've only ever done like commercial work, so all I know is like there is no like gallery that's like the middleman between you and the collector. It's just you and a collector, and you guys appreciate the art, you appreciate each other, and it's this like symbiotic, beautiful, supportive thing. And that's so yeah, like the guy that I sold it to, Unsung, shout out to Unsung, he's awesome, and like he's all about it. We've had some great talks, so yeah, I'm super happy that it went to him. And thanks.
I wanted to ask you, Robbie.
Just
I've watched a lot of like most of the tutorials that I've watched, or that me and Parrott were watching a few videos yesterday. It's from concept artists, right? Like in the digital art scene historically, we don't really break into fine art before this, right? And it looks like concept artists and people working for years on the kind of work that you're doing were very much the pinnacle of the digital art scene. It was like, that's the goal. We're trying to become concept artists. We're trying to have big clients. We're trying to do client work. And like, you are somebody who's a concept artist who is doing that. The goalposts have changed infinitely since this has begun. And I just want to hear from you what that, because I heard you say before, what that is like for you now to have transformed from that to this. Because I remember just even now we watch these videos where they're like, yeah, so you want to be you want to be working with big clients, you want to work in a AAA game, like that was the dream. Now, like, what's the POV for you in that transformation? I want to know.
So like one of like the, I guess one of the easiest ways to put this is like this is going to sound like a little bit of a generalization. It's not meant to, but this might like encompass the point. There's working for people and there's working with people. You know the difference? Like I've worked for a lot of companies. I've worked on a lot of really cool IPs, a lot of really, really cool stuff. A lot of it, sadly, as a concept artist, is never going to see the light of day. And it's all right, either has, and it's like dead and buried. Like pour one out, you know, that's just games. Like games live and they die all the time. Same thing with film. If like the fact that anything makes it to the public at all is like a miracle. You never know it if you were in it and like part of the process, but like, yeah, working in games and film can be crazy. It is crazy, but like, I mean, yeah, like it's crazy to say, but I enjoy like doing what I'm doing now. Like if someone came to me like, you want to work on Star Wars? Like, I think my question would be like, do I get like NFT rights to like the character? You know what I mean? Like, it's really weird because before this, it's like I would have jumped at the chance. Yeah, like you're right. Like the goalpost originally was like insert big established project, like that is your goal. And then when I realized at a point, and this kind of like goes, I don't want to like dive too much into like the drop, which I mean, like it kind of like there's an overlap there, so I don't want to like try to like ramble on too much about it. But like part of like the drop is like on Sunday, it's a story that I've been working on. It's a book that came originally from me, sort of coming to a goalpost shifting realization like 5 years ago before NFTs, when I was just looking at games and what I was doing and where I was at and the portfolio that I was making and the artist I was trying to be. And it wasn't really me, it was somebody else. Mm-hmm. And like immediately, like I switched to, it took about a year. I took about a year off, but like it took that time off and that like perspective and that like introspection to like look back with fresh eyes and go like, as cool as all the stuff is that I'm working on, like I'd rather just start doing my own stuff. And if I get paid for it, I do. And if I don't, whatever, it's fine. And then the weirdest thing happened. Everyone was like, yo, like, this is better than anything you've done. And it's because it was genuine, you know? And that speaks to people, right? Like, and so I kind of lost like I never lost the goal specifically, but like I started doing my own thing. And then because it was so interesting to the same clients that I was like, I don't want to work for you anymore. They were all like, hey, you want to do some of that for us? And then I kind of was like, well, you know, okay, like, I guess I'm getting paid to be me. And fortunately, when I do client work now, it is a thing that I get to do. And it's very me. But like when the NFT thing happened, like I had just wrapped up a job, like a pretty exciting job. I've done a lot of work for like I've worked for Magic the Gathering specifically for like almost 10 years now. It's been like 9-ish years. It's one of my first industry jobs. And like I was just working on something with them, like a big world building project. And I remember like people were telling me during that job, I had some friends being like, yo, check out like NFTs. And I'm like, dog, I'm over here making real money. I don't know what that NFT stuff is, but like, is that the Beeple stuff? Like that's Beeple though. Like that stuff doesn't happen to normal people, like whatever, you know? And I kept like brushing it off. And like week after week, they were like, dude, seriously, you should look into NFTs. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And then like maybe a week after the job ended, like I was like, what? And then maybe 2 weeks after that, I sold my Genesis piece and I was like, this isn't a joke, right? This is like real money. Like this is like you can actually like sustainably support yourself, like doing what you do, like, and someone will value it and pay for it. It's not like a big weird commissioned contract thing where you grind yourself into dust and you're miserable by the end of it. Like, I don't know. Like I was like, what? And so almost overnight, my whole like perception, I realized that a lot of what I was doing still was because of like a financial pressure to do it. Even if it was my own personal style, it was still like, I like all desire to work on stuff for other people just like stopped almost immediately. And I was like, I can create a runway for myself to like I can remove myself from that system that kind of like, you know, chews you up and spits you out creatively. And I can just work on my own stuff. And like, it's not about like getting rich. It's about like a better way of life. It's about like creating that runway that you need, that you can reinvest back into yourself and eventually into others, you know, to do the things you want to do. And so I just like the most black and white way of putting it is getting paid to do your own personal work. Like, it's beautiful. So like the goalpost now is just to do that in perpetuity, like, right. You know, and make as many friends along the way, which you can do. And I have been doing. And now, you know, we're all working on like the collaboration is another really cool thing. Like the amount of, I have way too many collaborations going on. I need to stop saying yes to things and like stop talking to people like, hey, you want to do a collab? Cause like, but it's too exciting. There's just, everyone's working on cool stuff. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
I really believe we're fueled by friendship in this space. It's a completely community run thing. The only reason people are willing to use this technology to spend the money is because everybody's about it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Think about how many people look at you and say, oh, I thought that was a Robbie Trevino thing. Like you said, I thought that was a people thing. Who, when they dip their toes into it, I only got into it to this level because I hit up Parrott, let's work together, let's collab, and that worked, right? Imagine who you could change the life of even after this Deadmau5 drop. You see an artist that you see promise in who does that, who says, hey, let's collab. And you say, you know what? I believe in this guy. And it just creates a whole nother powerhouse in the scene, right? It's completely a friendship, community fueled endeavor.
It is. And let's talk for a second, okay, let's go back to Deadmau5 for a second. You know, like we're planning on doing stuff outside of the NFT space now. Things that are like, we're talking like half a year down the line, something like that. Like maybe it doesn't happen here in this space, but you're creating relationships and you're broadening that network, right? Like you're making all these connections and everything. And you're just, you're opening one door after another. It just like, it keeps spiraling. It's this like energy. Like you said, it's that multiverse crypto NFT energy, you know? I don't know. It's awesome, dude. And it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Like every week I'm like, maybe I'll relax this week. And then it's like, hey, there's 10 more things, but they're all awesome. And you're like, well, I don't know if this whole thing is going to blow up in flames or not, but I'm going to go down with it. Like, we'll see where this crazy thing goes. And so far, it just keeps going, you know, like, what's it, to the moon, like over the moon? Like it's the trend is always upward, dude. Like, it's never like, I don't think I've had like a negative week this whole time I've started. Like it's been nothing but positive vibes. Like it's awesome. And
guys, can I jump on a soapbox real quick? These thoughts are really coming together in my mind over the past several weeks. And I just feel it's important to keep beating this drum. So Robbie, you touched on something I think is really, really important. The game has changed. The game has changed, and the middleman, in the way that the middleman was present, is now being stripped away, right? And you're finding that ability to connect directly with connectors, with collectors. But think about Magic the Gathering. Let's use that as an example. All the people who are super passionate about Magic the Gathering, they're buying into Magic the Gathering's IP that you are assisting in, right? That you are aiding in, that you're outright creating in some cases. Now there's a new marketplace where you're able to not go through them and you're able to create your own IP and go directly to collectors. And that's an insanely powerful thing. And it's happening all over the place. It's happening. I use these analogies. It's happening on Instagram. Everyone's uploading photos and art pieces to Instagram. Why? They're trying to build their own community. They're trying to build followership. They're trying to build attention. But at the end of the day, Instagram is a tens of billions of dollar company. That's where the money's going. And it's all happening behind the scenes. Let's take a sports agency like ESPN. They're paying for these photographs. They're, the photographer might get this little like line item of credit, but it's ESPN. Now the photographer is able to do fun things and come straight to the community. So number one point, it's insane what's happening right now. Number 2 point, this isn't going anywhere. This is not the overall space is not a bubble. NFTs are the future. They're a huge piece of the future. Now there are a lot of pockets that are bubbles. A lot of those bubbles are about to pop. That can be either scary or it can be empowering depending upon how we approach it. And then here's my last point, point number 3. Get ahead of it. Like this, I'm really like bowling up about this point. The big boys are coming. Big boys and big girls are coming. Like the big companies are coming and they have tremendous resources. And this space is about to get way crazier and way more noisy and way more insane than it is right now. And I know right now a lot of us are feeling like it's already getting noisy and insane. And so it's like the drum is this: community build. Focus on your craft. Focus on connecting those dots. Having that, I love to hear like that half-year plan, that 1-year plan, that 5-year plan. Just how your own IP connects to itself. Not any of these crazy mechanics. Like, listen, burns are great. All that stuff is cool, but that's not necessary. All that's necessary in my eyes is like focus on your community, focus on your art, focus forward. Like, what is your art building towards? What is your art connecting towards? What is your art creating? And I think that those who do that now, as the big boys and big girls are still understanding what is here and still bulling up to come in. If you start doing that now, I think you're going to be okay. Like, you're going to be in a fine place. Anyway, point 1, point 2, point 3, but I'm really like getting passionate about this because I think the time is now to understand that before those billion-dollar companies come in and just mash.
Yeah, I think one thing too worth mentioning is like obviously like get ahead of it, learn the space, like utilize the tools within the space to like their maximum potential, but like at the like at its core, like what's got me any success with this so far has been that I'm always creating from like the POV of substance. Like I'm all about like I will not bend to trends at all. I want my stuff to look exactly the same as it did out of the space, as it does in this space, and after the space. Like, you know, whatever that looks like. And by that, I don't mean like I don't evolve it in a way that like utilizes the tools. What I mean is you don't see me literally change my style because I see what is successful and I feel a pressure to mimic or replicate it, right? And like that's what creates the noise, right? If you've like how many like, you know, astronauts like, you know, like are we gonna see before there's like a million astronauts, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but like if you keep adding to that, you will create noise, right? With that many astronauts. And that's one example. But what like you at the end of the day, like you still like as long as you're doing your thing and it's something of substance and it's different, like I think that's gonna speak to everyone. You know, like I find myself getting caught up a lot in like the mechanics and the tools. And I'm really like, you should have seen me when I like was planning my Nifty drop. It was the most like, it was like, I mean, you've done one, so you know, it's just like, but I gotta like step back from that a little bit and think like, but like, why do people want to see any of this in the first place? Like, what are we doing here? It's like, well, we're telling a story, we're selling an experience, like we're giving people something, like something special. That's like what it needs to be. Like all this needs to be like something of substance in the end, right? It doesn't really matter how you communicate that. But it doesn't mean you can't, you know, try like new and exciting things. It's just, I don't know. I just don't want people to get lost. And like there's a reason why we're doing all of this, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point, man. And I think if you do start changing your stuff to like fit what sells and stuff, that takes the empowerment that we've been given by entering the space away from us. You know, like if you want to make stuff that sells, you can go back and be a concept artist for these big companies, because that's somewhat the same thing where you have to create, you know, something that's not truly yourself in order to survive. And that's like the antithesis of this space. This space is about expression of your true self into art. And that's, you know, that's how we live. That's how we survive. That's how we create this community.
Yeah, it's about even though someone else can now own your art, it's about owning it. It's about I fought tooth and nail to get 10% from a client into 10%. I'm making 100% of the art. You got to be kidding me here. You know, the transformation has been overnight. And I 100% agree that there's no reason we should ever compromise the essential quality that makes our work ours. But yeah, I agree. Anytime you see a tool that you think could add to your work and be useful, for me personally, I'm going to throw this tool into the workflow and the mix and see what happens and see how it works, but it's still going to be a karan4d piece. It's still going to be all me. And I do think there's a challenge now of like, hey, I don't have anybody asking me of what I want to do. I don't have anybody telling me what to do. I want to keep making work, but I feel this pressure on myself to make something revolutionary, to make something that performs in a way like I feel like my art has just been work in the past, and my art has been expression in the past. But now I want my art to be performance, if that makes sense. Like I want my art to be like people watch it like a show and they interact and engage with it. And I feel like NFTs have pushed us in the direction of being able to be like, hey, you can not just touch my art, you can talk to my art, you can walk with my art, you can hold my art's hand. You know, like we're pushing it to there. And I personally would not know about how to use 90% of these technologies if I never talked to anybody in the space. And another reason why we should keep saying, hey, let's collab, is because we're all kind of stealing each other's skills and repurposing them in a brilliant new way. You know what I mean? It's that innovation that's going to give us completely new styles of work that no one has ever seen before, not even close.
We definitely like to kind of go along the lines of that. Like I remember like in the art community, or I guess just any industry really, there's something weird that happens in society, right? Where we don't really share with each other like our salaries, our pay, you know, like what we earn for a living, like in terms of math, right? I've seen these conversations become more and more open regularly within like the art community that I'm still a part of, but I was a part of also before this community. And it was always a weird, taboo, touchy kind of thing, you know, but in the end, like it always helped people like as a whole. Like when you start sharing information, you know, like you lift everyone up together. What is it? Like every boat like raises up like the same tide. I totally butchered that. I totally fucked that up. Sorry.
A raising tide lifts all ships.
Wow, I slaughtered that. I'm so sorry, guys.
We all knew what you meant, Robbie. It's all good.
Okay, yeah. So, but like, basically, it's just like we need that communication, and collaboration is communication, right? It's a symbiotic relationship. But yeah, without those talks, like, I mean, when I started talking to for years, I was working for pennies. And then I started talking to other professionals, and they were like, "You need to do X, Y, and Z." I never would have known those things if I had never talked to them. Just like you're never going to know the tools to do this thing or have this great idea. Like some of the things that people are most excited for with my job are ideas that were suggested by other people. Like I can't take credit for them, like, and I won't, but like, I'll say that like, yeah, like they gave me those ideas because we worked on it. We talked about it, and, you know, people are willing to share their information, like, which is another great thing about the community is it's so supportive, you know, like I don't like just a little side story real fast. Like Baka Arts. I always use Baka as an example. Like week 2 in the crypto scene, first mint, it was live on Discord. I didn't even have, I made my MetaMask like in front of people, like while live streaming, and everyone's like, do this and do that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I don't know what's happening. Just trying to get something on Foundation. And like, I had no Ethereum in my wallet, and like Baka's just like threw me some ETH, and he was like, there you go. And I was like, whoa, this is like not a small amount of money. Like, what's your PayPal, man? And he's like, dude, just pay the next guys. And I was like, okay. And then like maybe a week later, I paid the next guys. And like, I told him the same thing. He's like, how much do you want? And I was like, just pay the next guys. So it's this like pay it forward. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful though. Cause like I never had like my first convention, like my first me trying to get a job, little starry-eyed Robbie, like 10 years ago. I drove across to Indianapolis because I was living in Michigan. I drove to Indianapolis, went to a convention, and like I didn't know anyone there. And I was just in line like everyone else, like scared, shaking, you know, like, excuse me, Mr. Art Director, here's my stuff, you know. And like there was no one there to be like, I got your gas fee, man. Like I just kind of did it, and I was like, we'll see what happens. Like people coming into the space now, like they're gonna be entering like a really supportive community, you know. I've never seen anything like this. It's crazy. I love it.
Isn't it great that when you came into the scene, I'm sure you had this experience that people knew you already, that people were like, that's Robbie Trevino, like that guy. Other people in the artist community saying, oh yeah, that guy's an artist, I've been following him, I have an incentive to help welcome him into this space. You know? Yeah,
that's like I think Baka like had followed me, and like I had seen his stuff before too. So yeah, it's actually until you put the face to people's names, you're like you. How many conversations have you been in where you're like, oh shit, I know your stuff. I've been following you for like 10 years or whatever. Like oh, you're in my Pinterest board. Like or I used to look at you during college or whatever. Yeah. Artists are funny. We all just no, you're the best. No, you're the best. You know, but like, but it's true though. It's true.
And we've all known of each other, and now we're getting to know each other, right? It's like
yes.
You don't even realize, like before this, that the network exists. We just aren't aware that the other person's aware of us, you know?
Yeah, we don't communicate with each other. Companies don't like to build like rock stars, if you know what I mean. Like people who carve a name for themselves do it themselves, you know. And you're never gonna know someone behind the work of something unless they're either properly credited, which a lot of times they aren't, or they've somehow managed to break away and like create some kind of identity following like social relevance for themselves. But there's all kinds of people that are working on amazing things all the time. You don't know about them because we don't talk to each other. I mean, we're doing it now, but not nearly enough, not in the past, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy when I go on, I'll find some artists on Instagram I like, and I'll go on their website and be like, oh, they worked on like all these video games and all these movies. Like I've seen this movie before, I played this video game. I had no idea whose like art style went into it until I found them just by like finding their stuff on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. Like it's not well known, and it should be, I feel like. That,
oh
yeah.
Something
cool about this space. It's how communicative everyone is.
Oh yeah, like my friend Raph, shout out to Raph Grassetti. Like he's the art director on God of War, and like people like his collectors like have probably bought from him and been like and played his game and like not even known it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and then if you made that connection, you'd be like, what? Like insert mind explosion meme, you know?
Yeah.
That happened to me with you, Robbie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm hanging out with Parrott, and he's showing me some art. And he's like, check this out, bro. This shit's crazy. I'm like, yo, this is insane. Who is this? He's like, it's this guy, Robbie Trevino. I'm like, cool. And I didn't know that you were coming on this podcast today. I had no idea. So then we hop on the podcast, and I'm like, oh, cool. Here's this guy, Robbie Trevino. Very cool. He has Dead Mouse Drop coming up Sunday. That's what I know. While we're talking, I see your art on the side on your Twitter, on the computer. And I'm like, holy shit. This is the guy whose art I was gawking at yesterday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's hilarious. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it's weird, but people seem to like it. So thank you.
It's a good kind of weird. It's a good kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I mean, no, that is exactly how it is though. You definitely like the amount of people that I've talked to, like there's this guy, I'm part of a few Discords. We all are, but I'm in one. It's pretty big now. It's like 500, almost 500 people, but there's this one guy, Tomer Hanuka, like huge, like amazing, like editorial illustrator. And like, he's always hanging out in there with us. And like, no one like knows it's him until we pull his work up and then everyone's like, ah! And I'm like, that's the same guy. Settle down, everyone. Like, he's just a person. Like you know what I mean? But they're like, they don't know. Like, you don't make the connections, you know? It's just funny the way that works. But like, yeah, man.
You don't personalize people until you see the face, like you were saying. It's just, oh my God, this art was in this, or this guy is the guy who did that. OMG, OMG, OMG.
Well, here's a question. When you guys look at people's art and then you finally put a face to the art, is it ever surprising or unexpected?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it has to be, right? I think our art is so easy to put a superhero behind. You know, it lends itself. Sometimes the art is of superheroes, right? And I think it's very easy to sink that into real life and project your own interpretation of the superhero behind the superhero. But what I found through origin stories is we've been able to interact with a lot of artists over and over again. Like, it never ends in a disappointing place. It's never like a letdown to me. It's always like, oh, interesting. I pictured this and it's this, but it's always, you end at that point where when the conversation is over, you feel the art, like the spirit of the art that you witnessed. So again, it's never disappointing, but sometimes it is different than what you visualize. Real quick, guys, always want to do it. We got Lauren in here commenting. We got Euphoria in here commenting, and we got The Good Life in here commenting. So a couple shout outs, we got Lauren saying such great combos happening today. And also says that story about Baca, he is so great. Agreed, Baca, friend of the show for sure. Very talented as well. We have Euphoria saying, hold up, Robbie. What is your problem with astronauts?
There is no problem. We just don't want too many astronauts.
Right.
Like you, like they're like, okay, wait, sorry, go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was gonna say no. You go finish the astronaut.
No,
point,
just like I don't look. There is an astronaut in my story. I call him the Traveler though, so he's not technically an astronaut, but he is like from space, so to speak. But like the thing is, like we just like don't like I don't know how to explain this without sounding.
He's a cosmonaut.
A cosmonaut. That's a good way to put it. No, but like. Too much saturation and you can get fatigued on something. Like with anything, even the best things, my favorite things, I can have too much of. I know that saying there's no such thing as too much, but it's like sometimes there is. That's all. Like that's all. Fight me, Alexi. No, I'm just kidding.
He's having a good time with it. Let's make the differentiation though, because I do feel like there are astronauts that are very clearly the vision of the artist, and you can feel that. It doesn't feel. I talk a lot about feelings. I can feel it. Please tell me I'm crazy if you don't feel the same way. But I can look at something or maybe thematically across several artworks, and I can start to get that vibe that this is the artist. Or I can start to get that vibe of like, what is this artist trying to do? And then maybe it is trying to follow a marketing trend. Like a pure astronaut in my mind is MBSJQ. Like I feel that dude has a mission. Like he has a mission. He has a mentality. He has a spirit to him about how he portrays that character. There's an art. I don't do the blast thing, but there's an artist that's on Maker's Place. That's as specific as I'm going to get. And I look at the art, and it's an astronaut, and I'm like, tell me that this is your unique character, because I just don't feel it. I just don't feel it. I don't. Does anyone else have that thought process?
No, 100%. I see a million people, including myself, as a 3D artist, using bald lady renders. Right?
Guilty.
We love bald lady renders. We love them, and it's a huge point of criticism. But you look at Parrott's work. You see his use of crystals throughout. You see his use of textures overlaying the body throughout. You see very unique materials that nobody else has because he's made all of that from scratch. And that stuff put onto something that people critique. You never look at it. I never look at a Parrott piece and say, oh, bald lady render, except if I want to tease you. It's, oh shit, it's a Parrott piece. You got crystal through the chest, crystals all over. You got the circles and lines all over, and you can recognize it's that person's particular version of the piece. For me, I use the bald lady often, but if I have the bald lady render in, she's surrounded by something that makes her uniquely mine, like fractals in a particular position or something of the sort. Like I had my AI work get involved with her in some way and dance with her. You have to make it yours at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's the overall point of this is like Roger was saying, there's a certain feeling you get when you look at a piece of art, and I think it's pretty transparent a lot of the times whether it's a true piece of art from the artist or if it's something that's trying to capitalize on a trend. Most of the time you can tell, I feel like.
I think so. I got to talk a little bit about the drop again because it's so like the character is so pivotal to this drop. Is it
an astronaut, Robbie?
It is an astronaut. No, it's a cosmonaut. It's a cosmonaut. Shut up.
Is there already a picture of this existing? Is there any chance we could pull up a picture to look at?
You know what? No, actually, there really isn't. Like, there's gonna be. You know what? Wait. Okay. I feel like if you look up the trailer that me and Deadmau5 made, you'll see it. There's like a quick shot of it, like super fast. But like where I'm going with this is like it. So like the drop it's a book project I've been working on for like 5-ish years. The first book, there's going to be like 5 or 6 books. The first, okay, yeah, there we go.
Nice.
So like, I got the music too.
Oh yeah.
Where is it? Oh, see, he's in that piece specifically in one of those pieces. Like that's one of them. They didn't show him though. Maybe this was just me getting you to like play the trailer. No, I'm just kidding.
Very, very, very cool, man.
No, thank you. But no, like, so basically, let me explain the story really fast. I'm not going to give away the ending because the ending's being written, and this is technically like the genesis of that project, like coming to people abroad, right? There's people that have been like in on this for a while, like people that have worked with me or have known me, who've seen me work on this thing for years. But like, basically,
is this the first public release? Is this the first time like we're getting the first time the story's being unveiled to the public right now?
Yeah, I think so, kind of. Yeah, because yeah, me and Deadmau5 talked a little bit about it on Nifty's podcast, but we really no. This is, I guess you're getting a first, yeah. So
Origin Story's exclusive.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So like, basically,
you're saying this is an origin story, Robbie.
Sorry, what?
You're saying this is an origin story.
This is an origin story, yeah. So basically, like the thing is, okay, Numinous is about traveler crash lands on distant planet, not astronaut, traveler. Okay, there's a difference. Traveler crash lands. Okay, sees the world. It's not where he's meant to be, maybe, but it's not here. It's not here. It's a different place, right? There's a lot of strange things that they see. They begin to catalog these things in like a field journal or a visual diary, right? They interact with the world, and slowly over like four or five books. This is the first book essentially. You know, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of story moments like from the universe, but maybe not necessarily from the first book itself. But there is the actual first book itself, a physical copy. I tried to mint the PDF. It's not possible given technological constraints, but I do have physical copies and a cool NFT, like a really important story moment from the book as an NFT with the book attached. And that'll be like a limited edition thing up for auction. But like mainly like imagine a story, right? Where this traveler like has to start to accept that they were meant to be a part of this universe, like that they were kind of always meant to be here, that they're not going to escape from this plane of existence called Numinous, right? The project is called Numinous. Like the traveler represents me. Like I am the traveler accepting my creative, my artistic voice, because there was a time, like I said, remember 5 years ago when I was like, I'm out, this isn't for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I came back, I accepted, I stopped fighting it. And I was like, I'm going to draw the weird stuff. I don't know if anyone's going to pay me for it, but I'll die happy. And then what do you know? Like weirdest thing, like everyone accepted it. They loved it. Like it was me. It was me the whole time. I just thought I needed to be all these other people before I found myself. The traveler is me finding my voice. So like, it's a story about me. So to me, the traveler, this astronaut is more than an astronaut. It's me. Like there's meaning behind it. There's depth, you know? And I guess this is really funny coming from someone who's like, yo, what's up with all these astronauts, bro? But like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's, but I mean, like that, like, so the character, like you barely even, there's not even a lot of focus on the actual traveler. Like it's about the traveler's experience and what they see. But the few moments that you do get to see the traveler, like it does kind of look like an astronaut because he is more or less an astronaut. So yeah.
I love how full circle this has come.
Yeah.
The name Numinous, the related to Rudolph Otto idea of the holy?
The ethereal, the divine, right. Sort of like otherworldly, like not of here, like transcendent, right. Of like our current existence. Yeah, right. There's something like I think ethereal, I think almost transcendent, like not of this plane, but of another, right? And that is sort of like me transcending my former self, becoming like something better, which is, you know, Robbie the artist, not Robbie the Microsoft concept artist, or Robbie the insert whatever company I'm working for artist. You know, like it's me, like it's just me. And I think that's where Numinous comes from. It also rolls off the tongue really nicely. Like I didn't invent that. A lot of people think I did, and I'm like, nah, dog, I didn't invent that. Like I wish I did. Was it? Okay.
Yeah, he used it to define the experience of interacting with the holy or the divine or the ethereal, as you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because he says you cannot understand the Numinous unless you have experienced it. If you have experienced it, I can describe it to you. And it's really fascinating because your story is providing the experience to people so that they can digest it. You know, it actually is so in line with the source material. It's crazy.
I think, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, like it's weird stuff. Aesthetically, like it's aesthetically pleasing though. Like people, the one comment I get the most is, God damn, like I don't know what I'm looking at, but I like it. And it's like there's a lot of rules. Like design is a mathematical, it's a universal language similar to math. You know, once you understand it, you can apply it to any subject matter, and it doesn't matter if it's weird fleshy abominations or, you know, beautiful insert, I don't know, skull with flowers, you know, something like that. Like we perceive things like in an aesthetically pleasing way, and there is a formula to it. It doesn't mean that, you know, you could tell stories like with or without it. It's just, you know, a way to create pleasing imagery. But like, I think the work goes a step beyond that because there is a story there and it does resonate with people. And I mean, you know, like shout out to Joel, like Deadmau5, like I showed him my stuff. Just like we connected over Discord one day. I was like, man, like I saw Ted Chin too. Shout out to Ted Chin, if anyone knows Ted's Little Dream. But like Ted was like, me and him were in Discord. And I was like, oh, Deadmau5 is in there talking to people. I hadn't talked to Joel yet. And he's like, you should talk to him. And I was like, I mean, all right, like, let's see. I mean, that'd be cool to get him to like write some music for this thing. Like I've heard a lot of his stuff, right? Like sometimes people think like Deadmau5 and they just think like, bam, 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 like the rave horn or whatever. And it's just like, no. He's a DJ, but he's written so much work. Like he's scored film, TV, like he's done all kinds of stuff, and it's all great. And so yeah, I showed him the project in the comments, you know, and like, of course, like half the comments were like, "Don't shill here. Who the fuck are you? Like, get out of here!" Right? but Joel was like, "Hey, man, I'm really drunk right now, but message me on Instagram. I'll see it in the morning." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." And then like I messaged him, and the next morning he's like, "Let's work on this thing. Like, this speaks to me." And I was like, "Right on, man." So like, you know, yeah, if I convinced like Deadmau5 like to work on this thing, like it you know, I must have like something at least interesting, right, to look at. So. And his music adds a whole new layer to it. I gotta say, like, it is seeing your stuff. Like, I'm not an animator or like a musician, but like, you know, I don't see my stuff, since so much of what I do like visually just gets thrown away in the trash by you know, as soon as it's done. Basically, I don't see a lot of it actually come to life, like to fruition. You know, they're just static images, but seeing them moving with a little bit of animation and some music on top, it's like, this is an experience. And this is the cool thing about this drop, in my opinion, is like, however it goes, it's the genesis for like whatever comes next. Like, my hope is that it goes well enough that I can, you know, kind of just take some of this and go take whatever I get from it and go, okay, like, I've connected with the community. I've got some runway here. Like, I can just keep growing the project. I can reinvest it back into like the project. And then who knows where it'll be in 10 years. It could be a whole VR experience. It could be an anime that exists on the blockchain. You know how many people were like, take this thing to Netflix? And I'm like, dude, fuck Netflix, man. Let's just make it ourselves, put it on the blockchain, like, for everyone to enjoy. Like, we can do it, you know? I mean, I'm not saying, sorry, Netflix, I'm not saying fuck you guys, but just like, do you know what I mean? Like, but you know what I mean? Like we can do it all ourselves if we want to. Like, and this is just the beginning. Like, with all the tools, like, who knows where it could go after this? And that's what's so exciting about this.
Robbie, if a year from now you're piloting a Netflix series called The Astronaut, my mind is just going to melt.
I'm going to laugh my ass off and play this interview on a YouTube channel and be
look
like,
at this guy.
He said he didn't like astronauts.
He said he didn't like Netflix or astronauts. That son of a bitch.
Another guy, another super fan, will put out like a 2-hour video, the difference between an astronaut and the traveler.
Yes. It's coming.
Regular astronaut at all.
Yeah, full disclaimer, I do love Netflix. That was just like me trying to make a point. Like, I just like we can do it all ourselves is what I'm saying. And that's the greatest thing about this. You know?
Robbie, I like your concept of runway. I like your concept of runway in a way that you put that forth. And I think that is a really powerful thing where, speaking of seeing someone who's creating art that is true to self versus someone who's maybe following a trend, someone who takes a piece of runway and applies it to the future, applies it to the plan, the evolution of a project. I mean, that's where it starts to get really powerful. So to be able to see you, I personally think you'll have a really successful drop. I'm watching those trailers. I know DeFace Studios here as well. Robbie's drop is looking insane. Shout out to Face. But man, the fact that you're considering and talking about those things where you have this vision and a piece of that runway gets reapplied and it keeps birthing it, and you're considering things like doing it on the blockchain and making it available to all, and not maybe going through the large company or the outlet along those lines, that resonates to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, thanks, man. I mean, that's like, look, guys, like, sure, doing like coke out of a Cybertruck or whatever is cool on the moon. I don't know, but really, it's about being like independent enough to just do this the way you want to do it. Like, no one's telling you how to do it. You work with people on it, not for people like on it. Like, you just get to do things the way you want to do, and like that's the best way to create like the most true to your vision experience. And like, yeah, it is about sharing it with people. Like, I don't know what that looks like yet. You know, it's very, there's a lot of logistics. And this, like I said, I'm thinking 10 years from now. I'm not thinking like, you know, next week. I'm thinking long-term here, you know, like we're so early in all of this. It doesn't feel like it, right? Because it's been, we all feel like, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years or whatever, but it's like, no, dude, it's like, think about it. Like, I think I started in February. Like, that's no time at all. I was an artist for almost a decade before this, like professionally. Like, we're just getting started, man, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, keep it going. I don't know, you know? So we'll see how it goes.
Buckle up. Hey, Robbie, let's talk about actually for everyone, something I think you did that was really, really savvy was, and this falls into the line where you were still being quite true to your art, but you were, I don't know, you were looking at the lay of the land and you saw a need for something, and it was the focus on avatars. And you jumped in there for a minute and you created several avatars. And I don't know, I really looked at my avatar, by the way, is Robbie Trevino. I don't know if anyone doesn't know that, that's the premise for this. But seeing you do that with Baka and what Ninja, right? And with MJ, and I don't know what you have planned in the future, but that stuck with me. I was like, Robbie's a sharp dude. He's bringing his genuine art forward and creating stuff that's true to him, but also that means something to someone else, and falls into this avatar trend of people reimagining what they could possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, so there is a strategic like point to the avatar, but it is, like you said, it is being true to yourself also. Like I'm not like a portrait artist per se, but I can do portraits. What I found when I do portraits, or when other people do portraits, is there is like a connective experience there, right? Because you're creating an image for someone, like of themselves, right? You're showing them your interpretation of them as a person, as like a being, as a, you know, just who they are, like through your eyes. It is a unique thing to show someone, right? To go, this is how I see you, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And like, you know, yeah, like I think the first one I did was for a guy who goes by Ninja, and he really is a ninja, because I have no idea who he is, but I feel like that's like half the people you meet in crypto. They're just like numbers, or they're punks, you know, and then you hear their voice and you're like, I've heard the voice of, that's crazy. Or like you even get on a video call with them. But like, yeah, like Ninja, I remember exactly how it started, but yeah, basically I did one for Ninja because he really liked my stuff and he wanted to see my take on him as like a person, as a, you know, like who I am to him in the space. And like I saw the response, and while I was working on that, Baka saw me doing one, and this is where I got kind of strategic, because I was like, Baka knows a lot of people. Like I'll make him, he wants me to do an avatar for him. I have a certain way of looking at Baka anyway, like a lot of people do. Like I'm sure he'll like the image that I make for him, you know. So I made him one, and sure enough, he liked it. You know, he showed it to everyone. You know, he like made a big deal out of it. You know, I think, funny enough, I think it lined up with his like 10K follower like celebration post on Twitter. But it's like 10K followers, everyone's cheering. It's like, and Robbie did a thing for me, right? Next thing I know, I've got like collectors and other people in the space who are hitting me up, being like, I want an avatar too. And now that I'm looking at your work, like, are you like, do you have anything like that you're minting or putting up for sale? And it's like, exactly. See, like I'm making connections, but not just in a like a I'm gonna shill and like, you know, buy my shit, you know, get up in the DMs and, you know, shill. Like no. Like I'm connecting with people, you know, I'm giving them something meaningful and like value. Yeah, exactly. And it is connecting me with other people who wouldn't have known about me or my work in the space prior. So it is like, yeah, making connections in a meaningful way, but it's also like it is a form of advertisement. It just is like. So there's a strategic like business point to it, but then there's also this human like societal, like communal aspect of it too, right? It's networking in the form of an avatar, basically. So it's cool. You get cool art, and I get to know people.
Guys, real quick, I love you all. I have to hop. Please keep going. Keep it going. Actually, I love you, Robbie. Karan, love you, Parrott. Always. I love you, RD. Community. I'm sorry I have to hop abruptly. Talk to you very, very soon. Sunday drop, Robbie, astronauts, travelers.
Thanks, man. Bye, Roger. But yeah, man, like avatars, you know, I don't know, people dig them. I feel like Baka did a really good version of that too with his. I don't know if you saw his surrogates drop.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
that was really smart.
Crazy. Yeah, really cool. Like it's a way, like I know like not half, but like I don't know, maybe a quarter, maybe a third of the surrogates in that were like for collectors, and obviously they were like custom tailored to the collectors. You had your 888 in there, you had your loop, you had your Nesty, you had I'm trying to think of, like, you know, just collectors. Like it was really cool, right? And I know like he's doing another drop soon, and he actually asked like 4 of us, like his like artist friends, like to do our own surrogate to throw in there too. Yeah. And funny enough, mine kind of looks like a Loopify one, just like unintentionally. So I'm like, I wonder if Loop's gonna grab that one. I guess we'll see. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like avatars, like you know, portraits. It's a way to connect with people. You know, it's like really personal.
It is, yeah.
100%. I'm actually talking to you guys know Pindar Van Arman, you know him?
I do.
I think I know his work. I don't know him personally.
He's the guy who has his robots paint AI paintings of people and stuff.
Oh wow, okay.
So I really love that he does a series where he will like connect with a particular artist or collector, and rather than working on the artist's work, he'll paint a portrait of the artist themselves, right, using his AI bots, and that's been his thing. So I really, really like how people engage like that, and in this, you know, coming to supposed to be anonymous. Remember when the internet was supposed to be this whole anonymous thing? Like now, look how loud we are about. This is who I am. This is who you are. This is my community. This is my family. You know.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, dude. I haven't felt energy like this in a while, man. Which is why I can just function an entire day on like 4 hours of sleep. I don't even choose to wake up that early. It just happens. People are like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, everything, dude. Like I don't choose to, man. Believe me, I'll go to bed dead tired and be like, I'm definitely sleeping like 10 hours today, and then I just wake up 4 hours later, like ready to go. What's going on in the cryptoverse? Like
all the time. And that's what wakes you up, right? And when you have something like that, literally lifting you from this otherwise uninterruptible slumber every day, you know you found a purpose. You know you found something meaningful to do in life. Because I remember days where I was making art and there was no recognition, there was no interest, and I'd go to sleep, I'd work until like 6 a.m. and then I'd wake up at like 4 p.m., 3 p.m., like super late. Like, why should I even get up? And now it's like, I need to get up. Like, I need to see what's going on. I have a fire in me. Like, it's a spark in your belly, right?
It is. I don't even think, I used to think it was FOMO, but I don't think it's FOMO. Like, there's a degree of that for a lot of people, but I think it's just excitement, honestly. Like, you know?
It's very exciting.
FOMO inspires people too, though.
It does.
I'm sitting here like, I'm trying to get my nifty drop game on. Shit, I need to get better. You know? It's when you see other people who are doing great, you can whine and you can bitch and you can complain and say, oh, you know, like, how come I don't, or like, I'll never be that good or whatever. Or you can say, that's right. That guy did it. He's a human being. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to go to that level too. I'm going to do it in my own way. Right.
I think what makes it so exciting to you is like how obtainable it really is, right? Like I kind of think of NFTs as like the Corvette C8 of like your dream of your career goals, right? Or your life goals. Where it's like, yes, but like as a car guy, right? Like, you know, I've always wanted like a supercar, you know, but it's like 200, 300K plus. That's not obtainable. Something like the C8, those retail for like around 60-ish starting. I mean, obviously when you like, you know, give them options, it's going to be more, but like the idea is it's like, oh, this is actually doable. Like, it's not like just a dream. And so like, yeah, when you see people like being successful and doing crazy things in the space, you go like, yeah, that dude, like if you talk to that guy like 2 weeks ago, he'd be like, I could barely pay my rent. And now he's like, you know, I bought my parents a house, or like, you know, for me, like I gave my mom a dental procedure that she's needed for like decades, you know, off of my earnings. And like, and I've had 10 years of student loan debt because goddamn, we have a problem with that here in the States. And like, I left with like almost 100K in debt, like to an art school last year, or no, not last year, 10 years ago. Sorry. And like, I mean, I'm like not even like, I'm like halfway there. I don't know how I've only paid off 50K of it. Well, it's because the interest is so bad, right? The interest, and like artists aren't inherently millionaires or the best business people. So like I've only in recent years made like serious dents into it. But dude, if a pandemic isn't going to cancel this, like I got to pay it back. And I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying like this would have been impossible probably at least for another 10 years if it wasn't for the opportunities that we have here. So like the space is changing lives, man. And if you had asked me like 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, you know, this is what's going to happen, right? And I'd be like, that is bullshit. Like that's not a real thing.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, you will be debt free on Monday.
Oh man, that would be dope.
Dude, it's an amazing thing how in one night everything can change. In one night.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just have a question. I have one question for you that I think you'll have a more concrete answer for me on Monday, but have you noticed people change? And if so, how? Because I've seen a lot of people. I'm a small fish compared to y'all. I've seen in my own life a bunch of people change just from them knowing, oh, you're doing NFTs now. Oh, your art isn't just a toy anymore. It's not just a fantasy anymore. You know, for me, I've watched people change. And I know this is a more like vulnerable topic, but I'm curious. You know, I imagine that after the Nifty drop, you'll see something like that. But even now, with the way things have blown up, do you feel like, I'm sure it happened. How has it happened? How have you seen that? And how do you feel about it?
I mean, I'll say that, like, I don't know if people have changed, but people's view of me has changed a lot. Yeah, maybe that's a different way of putting it. Like, and not necessarily for the better. Like, like we people who don't know, I don't want to make this so like since we're being vulnerable, I'll open up about like something that happened to me last year. I don't make this all about it, but I will tell you like what happened. So like last year, around June, I had like a health crisis, and it nearly killed me. And it led to about 6 months, 6-ish months of just testing. It was this horrible digestive issue that I had. It kind of came on me slowly over 3 weeks, and then it kind of completely incapacitated me. It left me crippled physically. Like, I mean, I had lost so much weight. I think I was down to like, I'm about 6 feet tall, and it, you know, I was down to like 130 pounds, which is crazy low. And, you know, I was sickly. Like, my girlfriend at the time had to like dress me. She had to like drive me to doctor's appointments. You know, I was hospitalized for almost a week. I lost a Star Wars job over it. Like, like a bunch of horrible stuff was happening. This also happened during BLM. You know, and here in Washington, like that was a big deal, right? Like there's something crazy about like looking on your phone and getting like riot in progress, you know, texts from the police, and then, you know, seeing like basically like the military being dispatched, which the whole thing was nuts. Like my 2020 went a little bit further than just like, I can't eat at my favorite boba shop because of COVID. It was a little bit more. It was a little bit crazier. And it's like, I don't want to make this completely like negative, but I just want to explain that like last year was extremely difficult for me. And it actually drove me to a point after the emotional distress and getting, by the way, I haven't received a single diagnosis for this yet to this day. Like there's some symptoms that I still have that persist. The list is long, but I'll just put it this way. I have chronic pain daily. Like it comes like it's a daily thing. There's no diagnosis for this. It could be autoimmune. They haven't found anything, you know, they ruled out all the big ones during my testing last year. Like, you know, it's nothing cancerous. It's nothing that's life threatening in the immediate sense, but it's the kind of thing that makes you wish you were dead because it's just nothing but pain. I spent most of my summer wrapped with like a heating blanket around my stomach and my ribs, because that's where so much of the pain manifests itself. And, yeah, like it kind of got me to a point where I was so down, like emotionally, which that creates a feedback loop. Like emotions affect your gut, you know, and vice versa. Definitely. It's all intermingled. I actually got to a suicidal point with this. Like I have a gun, like I had planned on using it. And for about 2 weeks there, I was making plans to just stop. Like it felt like jumping from a burning building, you know, like I'm just, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Every day is waking pain. It was really bad. It was a really bad time. And I'm not a depressed person at all. I've never been there. And I went to the ultimate version of that, right? The losing the will to live, even though I had all this amazing stuff ahead of me that I didn't even realize. And that's kind of where we're here now. Right. And that combined with a lot like meeting people who live with chronic illness, like meeting them and hearing their insights, like that stopped me. Like meeting people who have these issues, but you never know unless they told you, because they don't let it define them. Things like that. And then just the idea that it's like, if you stop now, like you're not going to see anything like ever, like this is it. There's no more opportunities. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like press X to doubt or whatever, you know, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, and I was like, in the end, I was like, dude, you know, maybe I'll just suck it up and see what happens. And slowly over time, it did get better. I got some help from holistic team and they helped me out, you know. It was a very long, this is all like chronicled. in social media. Like if you just go back a little bit, like, and I had huge help from the community, the art community. They had a GoFundMe for me to help pay my medical bills. It was insane. It was something like 40K. Like if you just Google like Robbie Trevino GoFundMe, you'll see it. Like it was nuts. And like I haven't forgotten about any of them. Like, and if anyone who donated that is watching, like thank you. Like you literally saved my life. And like, you know, like that was this amazing moment. The community, you know, came together. Like so the trend has it's always upward, right? We're here now. And like, you know, it took months and months and months to get back. I think I was well enough in November to even like fire off emails at my computer. That's how bad it was for me. And it, you know, I have a lot of discomfort now, but it's gotten a lot better, and it's well enough that I can work and like have conversations like we're having right now. It's just, it's more or less a discomfort at this point. Right. I want it to go away one day. Maybe it will, but so not to make it too much about the medical stuff, but I just want to paint that last year was rough. And so with that in mind, like moving forward, right, you see like, you know, anyone who doesn't know me will see the successes that I'm having in this space. And as someone who didn't make a lot of money when they were starting out as an artist, right, I get like what it's like to not get paid like anything, to do like the shit jobs that just fucking suck, you know? And like those people are seeing what some of those people who are in that spot now are seeing what's happening here in the space, right? It is a little mind bending. It probably does upset you. It probably is a lot to take in emotionally to see. I know I was questioning myself a lot when I was seeing what was happening and I wasn't a part of it yet, going, wait, you're getting paid how much to do what? Or like, you can do what with like, and to me, I was like, have I been doing my entire, like the whole 10 years wrong? Like the last 10 years, you know what I mean? Like I'm questioning it. Right. And so like, I see people like having that reaction to me now. And, you know, the people who don't react negatively to this stuff, who do, because I've gotten a lot of heat for this from people, you know, and it's understandable. The environmental concern is a completely valid thing. And it's a conversation that I have almost daily with people on both sides of this thing. But the ones who just come straight out and attack, who attack me, like a lot of them don't know like about the situation prior. And my financial situation prior, the fact that I had to get a bunch of strangers. I mean, I didn't ask them. Someone like set it up for me amazingly and people contributed. But the fact that I had to rely on strangers to pay my medical bills, you know, like you ask, like, what are people's motivations, you know, behind like making money, right? You just see someone getting rich or whatever, right? And you get flack for it, but it's like, you don't know someone's life. You have no idea why they choose to make the money the way they do. Maybe they really need it. Maybe that money isn't even for them, right? These are conversations that don't always happen. You just like, I don't want to ramble, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, there are a lot of people that have like unfollowed me over this. There are a lot of people that have just messaged me directly and said, you know, like, I don't agree with what you're doing. Like, you know, some people have just said, oh, you're greedy. I mean, I've been called a fascist and a pedophile before, which is kind of crazy, right? I know, like that's a whole other discussion, but like, you know, like I don't get into like debates with people online. I don't have spicy political takes. Like my following follows me for my art. I post it and they consume it. And that's that. Like I'm the guy that posts art. I've never gotten heat for anything in my life before on social media until this came around. And now, so to some people, I am just this greedy thing that is destroying the environment. So like some people I have changed to them, or their perception of me has changed. And like I said, it's not always a negative one. Sometimes I do get a lot of supportive comments too from people who be like, after what you went through last year, man, like I'm happy. I'm glad to see you, you know, making moves. Like, and that's awesome. I wish I could have a conversation with people about this stuff. But on Twitter, I think Twitter, it's so fucking tragic that we have to use Twitter of all places to promote.
You've opened up with an amazing story, dude. And first of all, thanks for being vulnerable and having the courage to share that. And like that's a huge deal, man. That's a huge deal. And like for me, I feel like I know you as a human being now and not as an artist. And I'm looking at you and I'm not thinking anymore, this guy makes cool art. I'm thinking, this is a cool guy.
No, thank you. Yeah. No. I mean, that's the only point I was trying to make is like, you don't know. I don't know. Like, yeah, you don't know one thing. Okay. we'll call it invisible illness. All right. Like you look fine. I'm talking to you just fine. My diaphragm feels like a knife is being jammed into it right now. Okay. But I've lived with this thing for like 7 months, 8 months now. I'm just used to it. It's my life. You live with anything long enough, you get used to it. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. Right. When people like don't see that, when you don't see someone's struggles, it is really easy to like write them off, and give them a lot of crap. This whole experience has taught me a lot about empathy. If someone cuts me off in traffic now, I don't just, I'm from Michigan, so like we're really aggressive. Like I don't go, oh, motherfucker, I'm gonna run them off the road. You're not gonna do anything. Shut up. Like you wouldn't be saying that if you weren't behind a car. Like stop it, Robbie.
Right.
but like I don't have that reaction anymore. I go like if someone's being an asshole, like I think like they probably didn't choose to be unhappy, right? They're probably not choosing to be miserable. Something made them this way. Like maybe you should ask them like, hey, are you going through something? Like, do you want to talk about it? Like, what's your pain? I didn't see things that like in that way so much as I do now, but it took like having like a debilitating condition for like half a year and like looking completely normal to like see that and realize like, oh yeah, like everyone's going through something. You don't know people's motivations. And so, yeah, like knowing that now, if I hadn't have been in the space and I saw people becoming crypto, millionaires or whatever, taking off, doing their thing, I wouldn't shame them. I would, if anything, I'd be like, you have no idea why that person is like doing what they're doing. Like they could be providing for a group of, like it could be that money could be going to someone else entirely. They could have some crazy condition that you don't know about. They could have a bunch of debt. Like I said, I haven't really spent. The CryptoPunk is the only thing I bought, and I bought that for like business purposes mostly. Like it's dope, but it's also like the ultimate business card, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's the ultimate business card. It looks fucking rad. And I don't know if I'll ever want to sell mine. I might if it's worth a lot one day, but even then I might still want to keep it because it's kind of like my family right now. But it's like other than the CryptoPunk, I've just been I've been paying off debts, and I said I got my mom the dental procedure. She's got some LASIK that I got to work on next. It's a process, but like yeah, I mean like anyone on the outside, they wouldn't really. They'd be like, oh, look at this guy and his castle made of checks and Ethereum or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, this money isn't even for me. I spent it on my mom. Like, why don't we have a conversation about it? And you would know. Like, so yeah, it's been kind of interesting how the perception of you in the eyes of others has shifted. I've made a lot of friends too. It's more positive than negative, but I just had to point that out that like, I don't know if a lot of people have this conversation or not, but as someone who had a pretty substantial following prior to this space, bringing them in, and not all of them are into what I'm doing next. Yeah. Like you get that. And I understand the anger, and I wish that it wasn't a thing, and I wish we could have better conversations about it. And I think we're starting to, but I think it was something worth mentioning. So
redirecting all Robbie Trevino haters to this video for coming. And hey, yeah, you made some new friends today too, man.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. If COVID wasn't a thing and you guys weren't like an hour and change away, I'd be like, hey, you guys want to grab some beers or something? Like,
I'm really confident. Like I'm telling you, I met Parrott like via internet, literally as we were saying, like from someone I see as a superstar into humanized, into my boy, into my brother.
Yeah.
And that transition happened because this experience exists, but also because I'm vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? It's very important to know that once enough people are vaccinated, once we have come past this thing, this catalyst for us building a digital community, unfortunate as COVID is, certainly, it's forced us all into the metaverse, right? And once we're able to go out freely again, we're all gonna hang out, man.
Oh man,
better come to New York. We're gonna party like crazy. Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus, baby.
I can't wait for like there's definitely gonna be some like NFT related, in real world NFT related deaths at some like crazy rager, right? Like it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like something like the like NFT rager of all ragers. Like when everything does open up again. Like I mean, I know there's been meetups already, but like I'm thinking of like the big one where it's like I don't know, Deadmau5 is like DJing at it and like everyone's there and it's like
be an NYC and everybody's invited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be there because I'm there and I don't want to travel.
Are we gonna have to wear like prints of like our crypto punks like
Yeah,
as
so
like
I know
masks
who
or
you are.
something?
My
Exactly.
Twitter profile picture on a necklace.
Yeah, just like a big like chain or something.
You all have to wear QR codes that link to the NFT address of
Yeah.
your profile picture. Or something.
Is wait, quick question. Do you live with Ferocious?
No, Ferocious lives in Seattle, but we just hang out a lot.
Oh, okay. For some, I've seen you guys on so many videos together. And I'm like, are they just like roommates or something? Like,
Almost at this point.
okay, yeah, right on. Yeah, Ferocious seems. I love that dude's energy. That guy is like full of life. Like, I love it.
He really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like that in person too. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good for him. Especially considering like I've read up a bit on like what he's gone through, and I'm like, dude, like good for you, man. Like that's awesome. I love seeing people like pull themselves out of situations, you know, and rise up like a glorious phoenix from the ashes.
It's like you said, once you humanize somebody, once you know the story, once you start to understand, and if you're a decent person, then you'll come to appreciate that person more and not just hate on them. You know, there are people who will hear your whole story and still say "fucking," you know.
Oh,
And
I know.
the fact of the matter is, if you don't have haters, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's what somebody said something like that to me the other day, where it's like, you know, oh, man, I think Mahler put it best. He was like, he was like, he can't be a lion without getting a few fleas, I think is what he said. It was something along the lines of that.
That's good.
It was lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep or something like that.
No, it was something about like lions get fleas. I don't remember, but it made me feel really good. I was like, thank you, sir. Like, but I mean, like it kind of falls along with what you're saying. It's like, yeah, if you're getting hate, you might be doing a few things right, basically.
Show me any viral YouTube video that doesn't have 1,000 dislikes, and then show me the 100,000 likes it has right next to it.
It's you know what though, the reason why it takes, you know, I say it. Let me go back to the hate thing for a second. One of the things I've said a couple times now is I've gotten a lot of hate, but the thing is, has it been a lot of hate, or has it just felt like a lot of hate? Are the vocal few the loudest of the bunch? You know, the truth is, it's actually more positive than negative by a lot. But all it takes, right? Like, how many times have you guys made a thing, right? And everyone loves it, but you won't remember the 200 good ones. You remember the one bad comment because for some reason, and I don't know why, but like we attach so much meaning to the negative. Like we focus on the negative so much more than the positive sometimes.
We don't believe the positive so often. When somebody tells me, yo, this is dope, I'm like, thanks. And that's how I think of it. Because really, I'm like, you really think it's dope? Like somewhere in the back of my head, it's like, you really think it's dope? You're just saying that. Or you just see a photo. You don't see like what it is to me, you know? And it's so much harder than, and think about it, if you have somebody hit you up and they're like, oh my God, Robbie, I think you're the artist of our generation. You're the greatest I've ever seen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they hit you with like a 2-page paragraph for how great you are. You're going to think it's a little creepy or smarmy. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to take it like, oh, wow, like I now feel that value, at least for me. But when somebody says something negative, it's like, oh, you mean that. You definitely mean that.
Yeah, you like it really, like I remember the first time like I got some backlash and like it felt awful and it felt like a ton of dogpiling. When I looked back at what it actually was, I was like, there was like a handful of people here. I've never actually really talked to any of these people. Like they're not, you know, like I don't know them. Like really, it's like, why am I letting this matter so much? Like look at all the other positive stuff you see here. But for some reason, right, the negative, like you said, the negative outweighs the positive. It just, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that we do care about what people think about us. Like even if we don't really, or we claim we don't, like to a degree, like people's perception of us like has value, inherent value. And like when people attack you directly, like your character, like that is a very personal thing. It's an attack on you yourself, right? So of course you feel emotionally about it. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, sorry, what?
It affects us more than it would affect somebody whose work isn't based off of people's perception of them, the success of their work. You know, it's going to hit so much more when that's what our job is. But for me, the value that I get from positive conversation is when I get criticism that's encouraging from other artists, from people that I look up to, when they say, I really like this particular thing that you're doing. I really like that particular thing that you're doing. When I hear another artist see something with their eye, the eye that I trust, that they see something they like or something that could be better, that gives me the satisfaction of, wow, you really think I can do it? You really think I hit it? For me, that's what it works for me.
Yeah. I completely agree, man. It's interesting. It's something that we're all working on a little bit. Well, I mean, I know I'm working on it a bit. So, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, like, mostly though, it's just positive vibes, I would say. Like, really, in the end, like, it's been nothing but positive vibes. Like, when I really think about it, like, has your life gotten worse or better? And the answer is, it's always better. It's always better. So yeah, just fucking don't worry about the hate. It's all noise. It's fine. I think it took that initial experience of like getting it in the first place. Because again, I never had it before, and I was like, why are people so mad at me? Like, it's just art. Like, I don't understand did I really hurt someone? Like, what happened? And it's more nuanced than that, obviously.
It's because they see you.
It is. And it also kind of almost goes back to the like road rage thing when people cut you off. Like 99% of these people that are like being whack in their comments, they would never say that to you in person. They'd meet you in person and be like, yo, your work's awesome, blah, 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 blah. But it's behind a keyboard. It's half the time I feel like the hateful comments are for attention or for like trolling purposes. And it's like, but yeah, I don't know. As an artist and like what Karan was saying earlier is like our job is based off of ourselves. Like if you're a businessman and you work for a company and someone's hating on your company, you can deflect that to the company and be like, oh, that's the company. But with us as artists, if someone hates on our work or on what we do, we're like, this is me. We're in such a vulnerable like profession almost,
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, man. Yeah, they really do see you, huh?
They do. It's because they see you. If someone really doesn't like you, I've learned they won't say anything to you.
Yeah,
Somebody really dislikes you, they won't say anything to you because it is disadvantageous for them to say anything.
I think too, like, it's interesting, right? You see like the conversations that happen on Clubhouse, right? Like Clubhouse is this new thing, and I never used it before the space, and like when you remove like the anonymity of like a keyboard, I mean, you sure, you're only seeing thumbnails, but still there's a voice attached. Like it immediately becomes a completely different experience. And I think the posturing is different. Like I'm seeing a little bit more, I see every once in a while, I'll see a little bit of conflict, a little bit of tension in like a Clubhouse room, but not the like all out like warfare that I see on Twitter with just text. Right. And like, I don't know, like, yeah, you're right. The posturing is different. It's always different. Like in real life, in person, right? With like a physical person looking at another physical person versus like just text, And I don't think it just feels that way because it's text. I think it is literally postured that way, but it always feels, yeah, it does feel different. There's a lot of subtle nuance in conversation that you don't get through text, and you're getting more of it now through Clubhouse. It's still not quite the same as in person, but I don't think I've ever seen like a slaughter fest of like, conversation in Clubhouse. I've seen it get pretty spicy, but Twitter is, oh man, Twitter can get real bad real fast,
It's a whole different animal.
Yeah, man, I'm seeing there's some people that are loving the convo.
Sure,
I'm checking out the chat.
Ross, thank you for subbing and tuning in. Alice Enjoy Yoga, thank you for tuning in as well.
Yeah.
Thanks to Face.
Shout out Alexi.
I'm gonna do a little quick shill and say I got a collab coming with B-Face soon too.
What?
Yo, I wanted to tell you we got similar PJs on, but I have the exact same lamp as you.
Oh, the IKEA one, dude. My whole everything here except for this chair is IKEA. The desk behind me, the desk here, like all my furniture in the living room, it's all IKEA. My bed's a mall. I don't know. I'm basic with this.
Doors.
Shout out IKEA.
Yeah, sponsor me, IKEA. Let's do NFTs. No,
that would be real at some point.
Probably. Like, imagine, I'm sure you could like build your own like room, right? With like an AR, like VR experience, right? And you just use like IKEA, like you buy the NFT and then it's like physically shipped to you or something.
Yeah.
Like there'll be something like that.
I would buy Robbie Trevino engraved furniture, wood stuff, 1,000,000%. If they laser cut some of your pieces into a table, give me the table.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. Like, I don't know, what would you, if you're ever, I'll just throw it out there. You know, I know I already like regretted this earlier, and I was like, man, I'm doing too many collabs. But like, if you guys are ever down to do a collab, let me know.
Really,
I'd love to.
We are working on something really cool. I'm not going to say too much about yet, but we'll DM you about.
Yeah, get up in them DMs, son, because
it's something that's very modular that anyone could have potentially a space in this thing that we're doing. And I swear to God, you've never seen a damn thing like it before.
Well, that's exciting, dude. Yeah, I'm interested, man. Let me let's DM after this or something. You know what else I saw real fast? This isn't news because I saw it on RD's Twitter, but like I saw Artifix is being teased. What's that about?
Oh yeah, it's just something that's coming.
yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, what's this? So yeah, that's what I love about this space, man. I just love that almost every day, I see something new, and it's new. It's never like, oh, I've already seen that shit. No, it's always like, I never would have thought of that. Wow, that's cool. Like,
exactly, innovation everywhere.
One of the most pointed things you said was, I've been here 6 weeks, which is like 2 years in NFT time.
I know.
I hear a million people make that joke, and it's so true. It's not even a joke, right? Like,
it is.
You go away for a week, you're behind.
Yeah. I managed to snag a Nifty drop like mid-February, and you know, Tommy and I set it up for April, right? Like April 18th. But like at the time, you know, because of how fast everything moved, I saw what people were doing, and I thought like, I'll make my own version of this, right? And I'll rely on sort of these mechanics, but making my own thing, right? Come like a week ago, I had to completely reformat like the mechanics of my drop because the market is completely different. Like none of the things that could have worked a month ago will work now. Like, I mean, they could, but no, not really.
Not effective. Yeah.
We've changed up our shit so many times just because it's like, oh, well, we're way better in the time it's been since it was time for whatever drop to happen. It's time to completely revamp and make our shit way better.
It is like, I would say it's not even like I shouldn't even say work. Like, what is going to be the best drop here? And by best, I mean, what's going to create the best content for the most users? You know, what will be like a net positive for you, right? Like how does everyone get what they want out of this, right? Yeah, and it took having a ton of conversations with all kinds of people, you know, other artists, other collectors, like people that collaborate, like, you know, like everyone, you know, the people who buy the stuff, the people who make the stuff, like everyone in this space. And from that, I was able to come up with so many great ideas, you know, like things that it's like, oh yeah, like what if we do this and like we reward this to this person who does that, and like, you know, we could do a giveaway for this thing and blah blah blah, you know, like all that stuff. Like they're things that like I hadn't even considered a month ago, you know, because they weren't even necessarily being done a month ago. And I don't think anything other than like the art itself, I'm not sure if like any of the mechanics or what I'm doing will be anything really different from what's already been done, but it'll have my own unique handprint on it, which is the part that's exciting about it. Like, and I'm not just trying to literally point and go, oh, just copy that because that works. Because first of all, we know that doesn't really work, like necessarily, not anymore. And it won't work because it worked for that person for a specific reason, because they utilized the tools, but they made it their own. You can't just mimic like everyone's formula, right? Whether it's drop mechanics or the content, like it'll ring hollow, you know. You got to bring something of substance, both mechanically and artistically, you know.
Definitely,
100%. And you have to be marketers now too. Like you said, most of us aren't originally great businessmen. I see a lot of people who are like, "Fuck, why aren't I blowing up? I'm like insanely good," and it's like, first, you know, you're not insanely good. Nobody's. You can't accept that. If you think that, you're wrong. But if you're complaining and sitting around wanting your art to speak for itself, the fact of the matter is there is a lot of noise in this space, and you have to be loud and you have to stand out. You have to find a way to get the spotlight on you, whether that's coming in with a following or becoming boisterous once you show up and making a following there.
I think that's like that is how you do it, because like for instance, like I came in, this is a rumor I got to dispel for a lot of people. I mean, you guys know this, but like I've had so many people go, oh, like, it's just because you had a following. And I was like, dude, my following has no idea what NFTs are.
Exactly.
Anytime I make a post on it, I have 150K followers on Instagram. Maybe 2 or 3 of them were like, oh, I know what that is. Most people are like, they're either like, what's an NFT? Or like, I don't care about this because I don't like NFTs. Yeah. But most people are like, what's an NFT? It's not about the following. Like maybe platforms might look at that and go, oh, okay, we'll let you in. Maybe. But really the success, like it's who you know, right? Like you can have 1,000 people see your work, but if all of them are the wrong person, like it won't matter. Like all it takes is the right collector to like connect with your work, right? Or the right person to see something that you're doing. Yeah, it is about who sees your work, not how many people see it. So this following thing is like, it's bullshit, man. I'm sorry, but it's just not accurate.
It's who are your followers. I have 1,700 followers. I'm nothing. Parrott's got like 5K followers, something like that.
Yeah, I came into this scene when I first started doing NFTs. I had 200 Twitter followers.
I had 0.
I had maybe 1,000 Instagram followers.
I have like 200 followers on Instagram or something. But everybody who follows on Twitter is in the crypto scene because I made my Twitter for that. So I get to see sales. So I get to connect with everyone. So I still get to feel known in the space. Like I have people in the space, even though I don't have any kind of a real follower count. I have friends who have 10K, 15K, 20K followers who are like, dude, I can't even make this 0.5 ETH sale. Because none of my followers are NFT people or crypto people.
Yeah, it's about building a story and creating a story and a narrative of who you are as an artist, and that's, I think, what makes the most impact. And what we were talking about earlier is providing value to the community. You can't just expect to come in here and take from the community.
Yeah, you have to say
exactly.
I have something that's going to change you. I have something that's going to make you smile and grow. And you're going to pay me for it.
Well, the other cool thing too is going back to like one thing I mentioned, right? Like, okay, let's say the drop on Sunday/Monday goes really good, right? And I net some good sales from it. It's like, not only could I reinvest that, into my own projects, I can reinvest it into the community, right? Like I can become a collector, I can support other artists. And like one thing I'm doing right now, like with the ETH that I have already from sales, like prior is like, like I've already commissioned one artist, he's this guy, Jazzy, shout out to Jazzy. He's like one of my new favorite artists in the space. Amazing work. Like, I don't know if you guys can just like look him up or not. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I think it's a Twitter handle.
Okay. Yeah. Let me grab it. But like Jazzy, right? This guy, I remember seeing him for the first time and being like, how do you spell it? Here we go. And being like, oh, wow, look at this like amazing, like fine art stuff. Like it's so good. What gallery do you work for? The dude tells me, he's like, yeah, like I'm a cocktail waiter at like this bar. And I'm just like, all right, we got to fix this. Like this is, and so like I've commissioned him to do a piece, he's working on it right now. It's like, I want him to have fun with it. I'm letting him do his own thing. I put it in the chat or in the Twitter chat. But yeah, Jazzy, like his work is incredible. And like, like he's just one of many that I could support, like, yeah, give him a follow. Yeah, take a look at that stuff, man. So this dude just like what he does for money really is he just makes cocktails for people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, look at what he's doing. Like he could probably be doing a little bit more with his entire day, right?
Definitely, man.
Like, and so like, like I get it. Like I worked at a hardware store for 7 years, like, moving bags of fertilizer and like organizing bins of screws and stuff. Like I've worked the minimum wage jobs for a long time, but like, I got out of it. Right. And like, like this is me in some little way helping someone get out of it. like that situation for them. Cause I know that's not what he wants to do. You know, he wants to do this stuff full time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, like, yeah, when you look at that work, do you go like, oh yeah, you know, like you could make my drink, please, sir? No, you go, oh, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're like, I want this on my wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, there's so many of these people out there, you know, it's just like, he's just one of many that I've connected with, but like, he's the first that I've commissioned. So, and I'm really excited to see what he comes up with. And I'll be sure to, you know, pump it all around proudly, because it'll be the first, I guess minus my CryptoPunk, it was going to be my first NFT like ever that I purchased from someone. But I guess it will be my second. So yeah, really, dude.
Very cool
yeah.
stuff.
So just that, like, you know, I don't want to like completely plug him out here, but like, that's just one example, right? Where it's like, you can support other people like in the community. Like
definitely,
just it is kind of a pay it forward full circle thing, right? Like share the earnings with everyone if you can.
Yeah, man, it's fun collecting art too. Like I never before the NFT space would have considered myself an art collector. Like I have stuff in my room right now that I own the NFT of that right there.
Dope.
And
my biggest sale.
Yo.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun, like supporting artists. I remember when I made some of my first, like, you know, bigger sales where, you know, when that happens, this thing clicks in your head where you go, holy shit, like I might be able to actually do this and support myself full time. And like, I've never forgotten what that felt like when like a collector first believed in my work and was, you know, able to do that for me. And it was like a life-changing paradigm shift. And to be able to pass that forward to other artists and, you know, be some, you know, that like influence in their life is like such a undescribable, awesome feeling.
I would be a collector myself, and like I'm probably gonna be very soon here, but like I've never, like you said, like I mean, I don't know about for you, but for me, it was a budget thing. Like, you know, there's all kinds of stuff I would do if I had the budget for it. Like,
both, dude.
Right now, like I don't sell. I haven't been selling pieces for a lot compared to you guys. Like, but even then, at the level that where I am, I'll buy pieces for like 0.1, 0.5, 0.4 ETH because I know that those guys who are selling those pieces for that much, they're like, I can support relative to the level I'm at for those people, right? Meanwhile, I'm being supported by the people the level of beyond, for example. You know what I mean? And that kind of pay it forward, even in that hierarchy where nobody's ever saying, "Oh, it's not that. It's not like the fact that you're commissioning this artist and probably inflating their value, which is a great thing. It's not like we're sitting around saying, "Oh, I just got in. I need to do mine and do my thing first." It's, "Oh, I have this much from this world, from this community where I never expected anything. Let me see how much of that I can use on somebody else." Instead of saying, "Oh, when I hit this amount, I'll buy something," you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm just like, for me, there's a few things like I got a list that I got to take care of. And then after that, like, yeah, hopefully the collection just goes like, just like grows into like, it's from what my guess is, because I'm like, I mean, you can't see it, but like I've got, well, I mean, you can see a little bit of it. Oh, wait, whoops, this way. So like, there's a lot of like Gundam kits back there. Like I'm a huge weeb. I love my anime, and like I'm addicted to like building like kits, like Evangelion kits, like Gundam kits, like all that stuff. Like fuck it, I'll grab one of them here. I'll grab one and show you guys. But like where I'm going with this is like, I imagine I will develop a collecting addiction. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm gonna be like, I won't buy that much, and then it's like, oh fuck, I just bought like 30 pieces, like from yeah.
Like I did not plan on becoming an art collector, but I've somehow spent more money on art this year than I made in the past 2 years before the NFT space. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
It just happens, man.
Ooh,
Evangelion Unit 1. Ooh, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, there's too many to like grab. I mean, there's even like an Evangelion piece hanging up. It's a Unit 2, like cracked open, and all the I think all the angels are coming out of it.
I'm glad you grab them and pick them up and say, some people will never even touch it and be like, no, way.
Oh, no. I'm going to take this. You know, I'll take something right out of the box and be like, this was meant to be like touched and stuff. I'm not going to like keep it in its container. Get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. That's like, to me, that's like when I see all the old farts that are like millionaires that like live around me that just like they buy a Ferrari and then like they just drive it like really slow. Now I get that like we need to be safe in like urban settings, you know, I get that. But I know for a fact that dude has never like taken that thing on a track. Probably it's just like it's like wearing a Rolex, right? Like, but not really like using it to tell the time. I'm like, no, it's a watch though. Like it has a purpose, right? You should use it.
Like Ferrari's meant to go 200 miles per hour. It's built for that.
And like all the hype beasts, wear your shoes, guys. Wear your shoes.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, I would definitely like collect. Like, I would collect a ton of physical merch, and like I'm excited for like my dream. Like in my mind, I'm thinking about like the future of gallery scenes, and I'm thinking about like if I had like a home, right, that I built, not an apartment that I rented from, but a home that I built, I would have like an interactive gallery space, like giant like display screens. You know, I'd probably have like a headset that I can put on and just sit down and interact with like the whole room. You know, and have like an AR experience with like digital art. Yeah, it's like there's so much we gotta do. We're just getting started, man. It's like,
dude, I really like what you exactly said. Like, I'm once I have my nifty drop, once I have funds, like my first thing I want to do is set up a gallery space in NYC. And I'm lucky that my significant other, she's involved in real estate. I'll be able to find a pretty good deal. And I want to be able to show all of our stuff on monitors and screens and have an NFT gallery where people can come in and interact with that stuff. The best part is, what are you going to do? Steal the screens? You still have to buy the NFT in order to obtain the art. You know, I can't think of a more secure way to have a gallery.
That's true. It's like that's one of the coolest things, right? Like we're like another example of this. You're absolutely right, and I hope. Like, not I hope. When it happens, invite me over. I want to check the space out, all right? I'll show up. It's a
chance to let people in the traditional scenes walk in. All the art NYC, the fine art people walk in. Oh, what's this? Is this that NFT crap? Is this another Jake Paul NFT? Is this another Paris Hilton? Like, no. Here you can see actual real artists. No offense to anybody, but you know what? I'm just going to say that.
Just kidding.
You can see people who dedicate their entire selves to art and show it off here, people you've never seen before. And because it's in a space and you can walk in, it gives that physical authenticity to it too. Because I feel metaversally legitimate, but I don't feel materialistically legitimate yet.
It's just a matter of time before this like already like we're already seeing, like I keep seeing the Canadian crew, you know, the Canadian fam. Like I see Victor and Fuckrender and all those guys with their like studio that they're setting up, and I'm like, it's already begun. Like we're already seeing like physical NFT spaces like manifesting. It's beautiful, dude. And I like the element about, you know, sharing the work of the unknown, you know, like the people that aren't like you have a chance to like lift people up, and it's in a more meaningful way than just say Twitter, where I'm going to retweet someone's portfolio day pinned tweet. It's like, no. Let me actually take you in to a gallery where you can sit and experience whoever, insert whoever, like their art, right?
And let me post photos of your art in the gallery to Twitter to create the symbiotic effect, you know, and vice versa.
So dope, dude. That's exciting, man.
As soon as enough of us are vaxxed, we're going to put our resources together and make some really crazy stuff. I mean, just think about the fact that you, Parrott, Fiwo, and probably a couple other people who are in the NFT scene are in Washington. I know there's a bunch of people in NYC. Noah Coker's there, wonderful guy. Colborn of Museum of Crypto Art's out there. Giselle Wolka's out there. There's a lot of great people in these areas. We are going to create centers. We're going to create cultural, physical centers. And it's inevitable. You know, you read books about different art movements. Oh, Jack Kerouac and the Beats met up over here. Those guys met up and did this, et cetera, et cetera. Those books are going to have our fucking names in them, man. And they're going to be about how we had conversations like this that created a physical aspect of this community. You know?
I know. It's so exciting, dude. Like, I can't wait. Yeah, we should definitely like have a conversation after this because like I got some ideas. I don't want to share them with everyone, but I'll share them with you guys.
We'll show everyone when we're done.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Yeah. No, we will share with everyone. It needs to work first. Like we got exactly right. So
I can embarrass myself around you, but not on stream.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I really wish like COVID wasn't a thing right now because I just want to like get off this stream. Just all right, let's fucking meet up and let's like talk shop like over drinks or something, dude. Like it'll happen soon. It'll happen soon enough.
It will for sure.
And the itch of I wish is only gonna make it that much better when it's time. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be like, dude, I've been fucking waiting to hang with you. That's all I thought when I saw this guy. The first 3 days, all I said to him was, I'm not going to shut up about this. I'm still bugging out. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, crazy.
Yeah. It's going to be surreal, man. I mean, some of the stories I've heard, I got friends, I can't like name them yet, but like I know one friend who's going to be like going to like Dubai with like a platform, you know, to like meet a bunch of like Saudi princes or something, you know, and it's going to be like, you know, like it's like and why? Because of NFTs. It's not like they're there to, you know, traffic like weapons or like trade exotic cars or like gift them like an animal like a tiger or something. No, it's digital art. Like you're going to meet like Middle Eastern aristocrats over digital art. Like that's incredible, dude.
It's insane. It's like the paintings of the greatest artists of the time would stay in king's homes, etc. For all of history, right? Artists being commissioned. You look at, I've said my whole life, I wish I could be like Montaigne, who was given an entire estate and a mansion just to write his essays. You know what I'm saying? By the nobleman. And I was like, that's fucking impossible nowadays. That's fucking impossible. Your friend going to meet the Saudi princes for art. That's that in the modern day, as far as I'm concerned. I'm in the king's court. That's how real we are now. Like more than artists have been for at least a century, I'm going to say.
So you like it's interesting, like to like further the point that you're making a little bit, like I've had, you know, like there's like I've seen like the really clever original comment of like, you know, well, like I'll just right click save. Look, it's my God, I got one too, you know, bro. Like why would I pay for it when I can look at it for free? And I go and like my response to that is like, you say that like that's how it should be. Like, you know, there was a time where if you wanted to see anything close to this, like you would have to pay admission, like have some sort of physical pilgrimage to a location and then like observe it one time. And then once you leave, that is a done experience. Like you're removed from the experience. There's no, like, I can ingest this information as many times as I want. Right now with social media, with society, right? Like, you know, websites, like, what's a modern example? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, right? Like, you know, all kinds of artwork, like even remove like the artwork that's posted on there. Let's just say the site itself. If you removed like the physical, the UI UX design, right? It would be like a wall of code, right? Like we're constantly consuming like art design, you know, like constantly to the point that we've taken it for granted so much to the point we've accepted it as just a normal part of our existence, right? Like we look at social media platforms, we look at like even like the screen and the UI that we're looking at right now, like someone designed that, someone like made that, like from an artistic point of view, like there was a creative process, and that is in itself some form of art, right? But we ingest it so regularly that like we don't see it as art anymore. So when you tell someone like a JPEG does have value, they go, what do you mean? Like I see them all the time for free online, and it's like no, like that's not the case. And like NFTs are yeah. So NFTs are like flipping that concept on its head. So it's like digital art is art, and it's always had value. And now you're just seeing that value. Like,
right. It's a reminder. It's a pedestal to return to those days, to say we are taking back our value that's been taken away just because there's so many of us and we can deliver to you so easily. You know, I think
the like negative reactions that people have too, like, again, like it does, I think it does mess with people, right? Like artists, like we're told like that we don't have value by a lot of companies, you know, because by the crazy rates, the crazy work schedules, like the expectations, you know, like we're like I said, like we're told that we are something that we're not, which is valuable by a lot of companies, by a lot of corporations, by society in a lot of ways, right? Like, you know how many times I was laughed out of a room back home, my hometown, you know, when I'm going to do art for a living. Oh, do you want to smoke weed out of your mom's basement too forever? And it's just like, no. Like I can make art. Like my mom still gets from like her, like she has her local, it's a very Midwestern thing. She has her church friends, right? All of her old lady friends, they all get together, and that's, you know, I love it. It's my mom. You do you, mom. But she talks to these people, right, who know nothing about art, who know nothing about what we do, like digitally. And, you know, hey, how's Robbie doing? You know, big West Coast, you know, Hollywood boy, you know, like gone off to the West Coast, you know. And my mom says, oh, like he's doing art, you know. And I go, okay, but like, what does he do for money? And it's like, geez, like, and so like the world like doesn't look at art the same way we do, like societally speaking, right? So like it is hard for people, even like on the outside, for people, it's even harder for people to understand this. But you even have artists on the inside, maybe not NFTs, but who have done art professionally, who don't value themselves anymore because of like society, right? So they go like, this NFT thing is bullshit. Like, what do you JPEGs? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But like once you understand the concept of it and you see the value of yourself and everyone else, you know, you realize, oh, like I am worth this much. Like, and other people see it too. It's just, it's a hard thing to train out of your brain.
Yeah. We've been robbed for so long. That's so true.
Yeah. Robbed of our value and been taken advantage of by corporations and industries and society as a whole.
Yeah, I'm very cautious of, like, I'll put it this way. There was a time where if some big company came to me, like a giant shoe brand, or I don't know, like a movie studio, or just something like a big comic book company or something, like I would have jumped at it, right? And I'm being approached by, you know, some of those examples like now in the NFT space. And even now I'm cautious because a part of me says, you know, I don't think this is going to be a 50-50 revenue sharing thing. I think this is going to be a thing where you still cut me out and you take the lion's share. Yeah. And I'm very cautious, which is why I'm more interested if I can be on a call with at least with maybe no more than 3 people. I kind of know, okay, this is probably like a small operation of just a few people. If it's like, you know, a giant call with like 100 people in it or something, you might be talking to a company, you know what I mean? Like a corporation, so to speak. Yeah. And maybe that's changing, but like, I'm very cautious because I've been burned for years now. So I have a lot of skepticism about it. I'm open to the idea of it. I just have to see it happen first. You know,
the time has come where we will make jobs by making agents. We will make people who manage us, people who talk as the corporate side for us with things like that. Because right now, through a beautiful opportunity, you got the chance, the way that you described it, to not work for Deadmau5, but to work with him by humanizing with him, hitting him up. He connected with your story, right? As opposed to 100 people you could hit up who wouldn't reply to that, right? Or who you could approach them and they're going to send you their agent. Well, now the time has come where we will at some point be in a position where let the agents talk. I want to talk to the big guy, whoever he is. I don't care if it's Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Put me with the artist to artist, and let the agent talk to the agent. I really think that that's a matter of time for us.
I feel you, and I'm seeing peaks of that when I'm in Clubhouse, and like it's so weird getting like invited up to the stage, and you're like, oh, there's like MC Hammer, like two you know, thumbnails away from you or whatever, right? Like crazy, right? But you have these conversations, and then, you know, like they'll follow you, they'll talk to you, you know, like celebrities, like people with, you know, like you're not talking to like MC Hammer's like people, you're talking to MC Hammer, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like, there's something really personal about them, like talking to you, like with their voice, and then they follow you, like not your people, they follow you, your avatar, like your Clubhouse user, thumbnail, whatever, right? Yeah. It's just crazy, man. Yeah, like, and I feel like the closest I came to that collaboration was I did some posters for Tool in 2019. Like I did a few of them, and like it was really cool. But even then, like it was mostly done through like emailing and a little bit of Instagram messaging. There wasn't conversations, right? Like, you know, not really. Like I love it. It was an amazing experience. Like I'd love to see them get in on the NFT scene, because I would be like all about like doing some images for them. But like where I'm going with this is like, you know, like the thing with Deadmau5 though, right? Like I talk to Joel like almost every day now, like on like I'm just friends with him. Like I forget he's even a celebrity when I talk to him. Like, oh yeah, that's right, this is Deadmau5. Like, you know, how would that have happened outside of the NFT space at one of his shows? Fuck no, I would have gotten like escorted off of the stage. Hey Deadmau5, it's me. You know, like, throw this loon off the stage, right? Like, yeah, like. We're breaking down barriers in this space, man. Like it's amazing.
I love it. And
I know.
So for it. You know?
I know. Fuck, man. And now like it's so funny. Like I don't know about y'all, but Paris Hilton did follow me. So like I'm just saying, like I don't know if she followed you guys. She's been following a lot of people lately.
I'm the small fish in this gang. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Watch out for me. But yeah, I get the Paris follow too.
Yeah. It's so weird to like that's like a new thing that you get to say, like, yeah, Paris Hilton followed me. Like
are you kidding me? All of my friends would just be like, you're a god. It's Paris. Yeah. People we have this perspective. Like my perspective of Paris Hilton has transformed from this community. For example, rather than just being like, oh my God, this untouchable superstar. It's like, oh, that's Paris Hilton. She's like has a particular perception in the NFT community, which is different from her perception in every other community, where I'm sitting here like, that's not as big of a deal if I wasn't in the NFT scene at all. As if I wasn't in the NFT scene, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm a celebrity overnight. Paris Hilton followed me. If Paris Hilton follows me now, I'm in the right passage that I'm in level 2.
It's true, man. Like in full transparency, I definitely remember like seeing her in movies. I was one movie, what was it, The House of Wax, right? I think she like dies in that one or whatever. And I was like, yeah, Paris Hilton like died in that one or whatever. You're not knowing anything about Paris Hilton. Like, not there's anything against her, right? But you don't think of a person as a person, like when they're like a brand, right? So to speak, necessarily. But then like you hear these conversations with her. Like, you know, I'm sure you've seen a couple of them. I've seen a couple of them. Like, and I'm like, oh man, she really is like the crypto queen. Like, she believes in this space. She's been about this for years. Like, if anything, I'm the asshole coming in here and being like, yeah, NFTs. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, Paris Hilton knows way more than I do. Like,
it's the same effect. People in the NFT space who yell at Paris Hilton when she's been here is the same effect that we were talking about earlier when people are shitting on our stuff. It's the same exact thing at a higher scale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny, man. I had no idea that. I mean, like I said, I didn't know what an NFT was like a month and a half ago. Like, not even close, right? That word meant nothing to a lot of people. It means a lot. I mean, shit, dude, we made it to SNL. Like,
yeah,
like a week or two ago, right? Like we went, and now you're seeing all those crypto punks like on the big like billboards like in LA, right?
Yeah. I'm actually a little upset about the way that things blew up so fast, and the way that certain people did enter. I am upset about it because for a short period of time, I started in September, end of September. And for a short period of time, I felt this feeling of, whoa, I'm legitimate as an artist. I can tell people I'm an artist and they'll take me seriously because I have an income from it. Overnight, I became the NFT guy. Overnight, I got 100 texts from people saying, yo, you make NFTs, right? Don't do NFT. I just became a guy doing a gimmick. I wasn't an artist anymore, all of a sudden. And now I feel like I have to fight to reclaim that back with all this added noise, personally.
Sure, that's definitely a perspective that I don't have because like I didn't have it, like I didn't experience it, right? That's right. Yeah, like could you talk a little bit more about that for a second? Like,
I mean, I started doing visual art for the first time. So I actually, very similarly to Parrott, though not as well, did music for a while, for probably 4 or 5 years. And I was always like, I'm shit at drawing. I can't draw. I can't paint. I can't do any of that. I didn't even try, right? But I had gotten to a point in January of 2020 where I saw a 3D render for the first time, where I knew what it was. And I said, holy shit, I can do it. If this IG guy did it, I can do it. I can learn it. I hit him up, create by law. Can we pull, is there any chance we can pull him up? Because that's the guy who showed me 3D. He taught me, he gave me the first steps of what to do. Create by law. He's on Twitter too.
Okay.
Ian Lawrence, yeah. Great guy at Create by Law. I see his stuff. He happens to say, here's my specs. You could do it on your computer too.
Yeah.
I jump in. I've only been doing visual art for a year. And in September, one of my friends tells me, hey, I have a friend who is in the NFT space and you should get paid for your art. And I don't know anything about NFTs. Nobody's really talking about it outside of crypto Twitter and NFT Twitter at the time. So I hop in and so this is Law, Create by Law. So you see like some of his 3D renders. This is the first guy I ever saw. And he really inspired me because, now I look at these renders and I'm like, great, cool, awesome render. But originally I would look at it and be like, what the fuck is this simulation of the real world where you can do shit that you can't do in real life? I can't draw. Are you telling me I can just put objects together and compose them? That's crazy. And I jumped in and I met people like Parrott, and for the first time ever, I was in an art community. I've never talked to people about art before. I've never had anyone to compare to. I've never had rivals and homies that were doing this shit with me. And one of my boys starts painting. Shit, I start painting. I know he shows me a little bit of his techniques. Now I know those techniques. I repurpose those techniques. I learn new things. Now I do paint. Now you can look at my in my Twitter, and I'll say on live stream, I do camera obscura on my own 3D renders. So people look at it like, holy fuck, you're like Picasso. And it's like, no, dude, I'm basically painting over my own renders. You know what I mean? I'm just getting creative with it. I'm just playing around with it. And that inspiration, that mindset, and that approach I never had until people were like, you're an artist. And other artists who I consider real said, you're real. And then NFTs blew up. And then a bunch of people were hitting me up who were not artists or who wanted to enter the art scene, but who weren't looking at this like, wow, time to legitimize my art. They're like, haha, let me squeeze out a quick buck and make an NFT too. Hey, I have an idea for NFT. Hey, I'm starting a company and I wanted you to make a logo for it that I could make as an NFT. Hey, this and that is an NFT. It's like suddenly it becomes everyone's NFT bitch. And I explained to the way that I talked to Parrott about it, we related to was, you don't go to your accountant and say, hey, teach me how to do my taxes so I can fire you. You don't go to your banker and say, tell me how to do your job so I don't need you anymore. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who's reaching out to me now and treating me like I'm an employee, when this is the thing that made me feel like I'm no longer an employee, it hurts a little. And it makes me say to them, you want to treat me like that, you want to see me like that, fine, 10 ETH, 20 ETH, 50 ETH for your thing. You know what I mean? If you want me to put my value away, then you better pay me what I think my value is in the face of that, as opposed to friends of mine who I know are starving, who I know are artists, who I know have sacrificed every idea of quote unquote practicality and said, I'm doing my dream, who've hit me up saying, yo, man, I don't know anything about this, but I just want to be real. Shit, I gave them my foundation invites. You know what I'm saying? I show them how to do everything. It's not like I'm saying, oh, you can't get into space. It's, are you here to be real and to be valued and to feel that way and to help other people feel that way and connect with other people? Like are you here to do what we're doing right now? Or are you here to squeeze me out? Because if you're here to squeeze me out, I'm expensive.
Well, dude, that's awesome, man. And yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, man. That makes a lot of sense. That's an interesting perspective. I always definitely pick people's brains, like the ones who have been in the space longer. And I mean, like substantially longer,
He's been even long. He's been here for a year, like since like July, right?
June, yeah, almost a year.
Oh my God, that's almost a year. So basically, you've been in the NFTs for like 20 years at this point, then.
Feels like, man.
When this guy showed up on Super Rare, he was undisputedly the greatest artist on Super Rare. I'll still argue he is. Don't become friends with your number one fan, by the way. Big mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it has been crazy seeing the NFT space blow up so quickly. I thought we still had another few years of being like quote unquote underground before it like really breached mainstream, but it happened so fast. And I think whenever that happens to a community, there's a certain bastardization of it in a sense by like the public forces. But I don't know, man. It's something that's been really cool. Has been like still, even though like we're on SNL and we're on fucking CBS News and CNN every day, and everyone's talking about it. There's still like the core community that exists and is uplifting, and people can still enter this space right now and take part in that community. And there's a lot of like, Nifty Gateway. I see a lot of like big, A celebrities on there that are doing drops, and it's transparent when they try to squeeze a buck out of it.
They don't know anybody.
They don't know anybody. They do it as they see it's like the hot thing to do right now. And what I like is that a lot of the collectors, a lot of the people, the artists turned collectors in this space don't support that as hard as like an X copy or someone who Baka Arts, someone who like, even though Baka is like relatively new in the scene compared to, some people have been at it for a year or two, you can tell like he's put in a decade plus of fucking blood, sweat, and tears into his work. Like Baka was years ago when I was first learning digital art, I was watching his tutorials on YouTube about like Photoshop and stuff like that. People like you who have put a decade plus of work into your art can come into this space, and people will be able to recognize that, see that, and appreciate it. And it's like, for the first time in my life, I see like the good people going to the top.
Yeah.
Which like, I didn't even know was possible in this society.
It's not about when you come in. It's not about coming in now. It's about why you're coming in. And the dream has been to see a trickle and an explosion of concept artists coming in, of people who have kind of laid down the foundations of, I fucking slaved my ass off for a decade doing this, mastering my craft. So you, Karan, could start doing art for the first time in January 2020 and become a real artist in 8 months. I worked for 10 years so you could do that. I want to see those guys. I want to see the Robbies coming up and blowing up. The thing that hurts me is when I see people who have no interest in that, who didn't know that struggle, or that don't really give a shit or have any empathy for that struggle coming in. My problem with the blow up is that people that don't have what I consider to be the right motivations are coming in en masse. Now, obviously, there's the good side that people like you are coming in masse. Thank God. It's like, I wish I could have had one without the other, but you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate those kind words, man. And like the sentiment's the same on this end. It's like, it's pretty obvious, right? Like, it's pretty transparent. Like, when it does happen, like, it rings hollow. Like, people aren't as smart as they think they are, or as clever as they think they are. No offense to like I'm just, oh man, like I got to call it. I'm thinking about the Snoop drop for a second, and I'm just like, I was like, man, no. It was just a big old no for me. I don't even have to say anything else. Like, I think where I'm going with this, but it's just one of those things where it's like, it's very obvious, like what's happening. Like when things, like one of the things that I made sure of to like restructure my drop around for Nifty was like looking at it being like, I don't want this to be a cash grab. Like, it's not about being a cash grab, but I also don't want it to appear that way in any way, because it's not what it is. Like, this is all the prices are low. Like it's about accessibility. Right. And like, that's how you connect with the community. And that's how you you build a long-term relationship, right? Like the cash grab stuff might net you something in the immediate sense if you're even clever enough to pull it off, right? Which is but it's not, it's gonna, everything will bomb, like not even secondary, just in general, right? Like you're like
it will get worse.
Your art will get worse. Like there's no substance behind it. Like you're not going to build a long-term relationship with people, right? Like there's some stuff that I couldn't do because Nifty just wasn't allowing me to do it. Like, I was trying to do like drawing things where it's like, oh, maybe I could like, like if people could show me they held on to open editions for like 5 weeks plus, like every 5 weeks, I would have like a drawing and, like I'd enter people in and, like I could gift them an NFT for free. They were like, we can't do that. It's too complicated. But I was trying to think of ways to, like keep connecting with people, keep like gifting people. Like I have no problem giving away art. Like, if it means
do that, you could even
if it
find people who bought your Nifty drop, you could get the addresses and
that's true. I think I was referring more to like if I was gonna like mint it on their actual site as like a Nifty, right? They were kind of like we don't, and like I get it. They don't want to like make something overly complicated, but I'm just trying to explain that like where my head is at is like how do I continue the conversation past Sunday/Monday? How do we just keep talking? Like, how do I keep growing the project? How do I keep building relationships with people? Like again, like I'm thinking long term. And this, if it was a cash grab. What?
We have a way, and we'll tell you after the.
All right. Yeah. Like, but you see where I'm going with this? Like, I'm like, again, the CryptoPunk was another move in the same direction. It was like, I want to show people like I'm here to stay. Like, it's an expensive avatar, but like I'm gonna get it because it's a business card, and like because of that, like I mean, the night I bought it, like it paid for itself. Like if we're talking about purely mathematics, where it's like. I met a bunch of punks, we started talking, we started conversing like in the Discord, one thing led to another. They're checking you out on Instagram and Twitter. Next thing you know, they're bidding on your one of ones, that never would have happened if I hadn't have gotten in with that community and made the purchase in the first place. Like it's a business investment, like for your future, right? It's not just like a flex. Like, yeah, it's cool. Like to have a punk, but really
it's not a shallow investment. It's
no.
It has meaning to people. It's a symbol. Right.
Yeah.
It's not a celeb NFT that you're showing off. It's a classic, fundamental part of the community that you're saying I'm ingrained in it.
Right. Yeah. And so, dude, I tried to explain it to my mom. I was like, Mom, guess how much I spent on a pixelated avatar? And of course, being like someone who doesn't even know what an NFT is, she's like, her head was just like immediately like, what? And I'm like, I know, but listen, it's all part of the bigger plan. Like it's a good thing, believe me. And it is a good thing.
It's the best feeling. I'm sitting with a friend and his girlfriend, and he knows what I've been up to because we're great friends. She was very skeptical, very like a STEM person, like very science, engineering, like a lot of degrees kind of thing. And I remember her being like, so what do you do? I'm like, yeah, so I'm an artist. She's like, oh, that's really cool. That's really great. Yeah, I'm really happy for you. But what are you gonna do with that? I'm like, I don't know. I sold my last piece for $5,000, and she spit her water out. She spit her water out all over the dinner table, and I was like, yes, that's like exactly like. You know what? If you had just not even given me a reaction, I would have had a lot more respect for watching you bug out at that because it's not even serious to people who are outside. And when that insincerity comes inward, it hurts. I have another friend of mine who, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but I like this person a lot. I respect this person, and this person is a business person. And this business person came to me saying, I'm working with a few people. I want to do a specific kind of NFT that involves working with celebrities. A celebrity collaboration. And he is someone that I want to see succeed. So I said, when he got me in the clubhouse, like you said, with like 10 different people, they put me on the stage. And I really don't want to do this in the first place, but he's my friend. So I tell them, listen, if you're going to do this, and especially if I'm even going to think about it, you have to know that everybody else who does this looks horrible, except for NBA Top Shot and 1 or 2 other people, because those people made it clear that they're here to stay, that they're part of the community and they respect it. And they're not just pumping out a celebrity. They've made your love of that celebrity into art. They've made that into an experience that you can play around in. It's not a one-off, boom, here you go, cash grab. It's really a system that is here to stay and continuously provide experiences. And I said, if you're not going to do that, and you're not ready to get down in the woods with who's who in the community, and you're not going to appeal to them first, this will never succeed beyond 1 or 2 pieces. And I certainly won't have anything to do with it. And they were like, yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Out the same year. In 1 year, out the same year. So, you know,
you make its way to the brain,
you
bro.
Try. You try. At least I can say that with that person, I still put in all the effort I didn't have to give that disclaimer. And I feel like to anybody watching who isn't directly an artist in the sense that people think of it, but they want to get involved in making an NFT experience, and they want to use even celebrities or something well-known, that's the way to do it. Don't be cheap. Don't be a sellout. Don't be an asshole. Like, go to the community and be grassroots about it. Even if you're coming with the most high-profile names, start from the bottom and talk to the people out on the ground. And that's when you'll see success with that kind of NFT, I think.
Yeah, it goes back to just you need to add value to gain value, I think, and it's a symbiotic process.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
If just like from like the bare bones of it, like if I was a collector, right, and I saw a drop coming up, and like, you know, it was just some person who I never talked to them, you know, they never like, we never even have a conversation, right? I haven't seen anything about the drop. I like not even promoting, just talking to them like as a person, right? I'm way less likely to invest in whatever they're buying, you know, or selling, rather than like, if, you know, maybe it's not the most amazing drop I've ever seen, but it's someone who I know, I've connected with them, we've talked a bit, you know, like they've shown me that they're a person, not just, you know, a brand or an image, or, you know, more than like a profile pic or an avatar, right? Like they're, you know, like they're not just a product, they're a person, like, you know, just like me. It's like I'm way more likely to like invest myself in their drop, in all their future drops, in like whatever they're building, whatever they're doing, whatever stories they're telling. But like there needs to be that connection first, you know. Right. Like maybe not always, but like in my mind, I know that I would be way more incentivized to support someone if I just saw them as a person, and that involves having a connection with them, any connection, you know. I just like I see the people just walk in and, you know, they drop something and then they're out, and it's like, well, that person's not invested in any of this. They just want your money and then they're gonna peace. Like, yeah, you know, that's, people can see it. They can see it from a mile away. You know, it's pretty obvious. Like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm here to stay, man. That's why, that's why, like, let's build some, let's build it, man. Let's just build some shit.
This podcast is like a fundamental part of that kind of exposure, I think, of humanizing people. Like, I looked at your art and I was like, this is crazy, but I didn't know who you were. And like I said, when I saw the link between the two, I was like, cool. After this conversation, I know I'm going to go look at your pieces and I'm going to feel the impact of the journey you've gone through to do that, of the trials you've faced and the difficulty you've had, and how important this story is now as a triumph. I'm going to fucking love staring at your nifty drop and being like, holy shit, that dude made it. Robbie made it. The guy who beat the difficulties that he's faced, and he's still sitting here smiling, casual dude in my matching PJs.
Yeah.
To it. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, flannel gang. Yeah, no, dude, I super appreciate that, man. And likewise, you know, I'm really excited to hear about this this secret thing, which we will share with everyone eventually.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's close this down for the evening. We can hop on a Discord call after this.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, awesome. I mean, well, listen, I mean, thank you so much for inviting me on this stream, dude. And we should do like a post nifty one, and, you know, whatever, or just whenever, you know, like let's do it again. I guess is what I'm saying. Let's just keep it going.
Sure, man.
We can do a clubhouse.
If you guys, I think actually I'm trying, I don't know if I can get Joel in on it yet, but like, I'm gonna be setting up a clubhouse Friday to talk a little bit about the drop. If you guys feel like stopping by or you want to even co-host or something, like let me know, dude.
Well, yeah. DM me the details on that, and I'll stop by for sure, man.
Awesome.
Like Twitter's karan4d, we can connect there too.
Oh yeah, great, awesome.
We'll get to talking, bro. Really excited.
Yeah, right on, dude. Well, listen, thanks for having me on, and I look forward to many more.
Yes, sir. Thanks. That was a blast, man. Thank you, everyone, for swinging by and listening to us talk about all the beautiful happenings in the space. Good luck on your drop Sunday, dude. I'm super excited to see all those pieces in full. See the Traveler.
Yeah, the Traveler. Get ready. It's going to be really weird.
I'm prepared, man. I love your style. I'm super excited for this all.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. We'll be back next week, me and Roger, with some special guests. He's not here to tell me who they are, but we'll be back next Thursday. Bye, everybody.